Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday night speedrunning here on the Nick Harpy stream. I hope you're ready for what I'm hoping it's going to be just a nice, cozy stream, because we're on two very cozy speedrun practices. Would like to get a PB in one of them. We're still aiming for that PB. The one that I wanted. Well, I did get one last week, but it was only 12 seconds, and that wasn't. No, that's not enough. I need more cozy stream, more coziness. That's what. Oh, that was weird. Hi everyone. My transition didn't play. It just cut. That was really weird. I don't know why why did my transition play? Transition played on the vertical stream, but it just cut instantly. Like, what? No, main stinger. Also, my gain capture is. My gain capture hasn't unmuted. What's going on? I'm going to try changing to a different scene and then coming back. Let's change to this one. There we go. See, that played. That played fine. That was weird. All right, now let's go back to this scene. Oh, we're back. I'm sure my game capture is set to mute and unmute. Unless it's only when we go to the main. It might be only when we go to the main scene. I don't know. That's weird. I don't know. I felt like there's a problem there. But oh well, it's all good. Hi everyone. Welcome to tonight's stream. If you're on Blue Sky, you may have seen that I did a big post today about June, because my June is going to be very busy. I have 2 speedrun marathons confirmed, because over the weekend, Preventathon released their schedule. I'm a staff member for Preventathon now, so I already knew ahead of the schedule reveal that I was in, what time I'd be doing it, and all of that. So yeah, I was already aware of it, but obviously I didn't spoil anything. So yeah, I've got Klonoa 2 for Preventathon, which we're going to be having a look at a little bit later on. And I've got also got this. Oh, hey, Cosmic.
Something happened to me last Thursday when I was driving home. I had a couple of miles to go. I looked up and saw a glowing orange object in the sky to the east.
To the east. Yes, I am finally home as well, which is good. I'll talk about that before we start as well. But yeah, then we've got Speedrun Miser, the second weekend of June, I believe. So the weekend after Preventathon, where I'm going to be running this, Jade, Cocoon, and yesterday I got approached by one of the organizers, because I already knew this anyway, but my student pulled out. So the person who was going to be running Metal Gear Solid 3 pulled out. They're no longer going to be part of the event, because the event's kind of built around the idea of doing all of the runs, and they already sort of have the time allocation. They want to make sure that the time allocation is used up. They've offered me the opportunity to just showcase the game myself, which is fine. I've done Metal Gear MGS3 a bunch of times. It's been a while since I've done a marathon run of very easy though, so that's going to be nice. That'll be nice to do. I'm tempted to run it on PS3 just because that's what my student would have been doing, but I'll probably stick to the Master Collection version, because it'll be much faster if I do it that way. So yeah, 3 speedrun marathons already lined up to do. And then there's still one more speedrun marathon. The submissions close at the end of May, and that's License-a-thon, which I originally just submitted Cast of Illusion starring Mickey Mouse, and then the organizers came to me and said, would you be up for submitting anything else? because at that time their submissions were quite low. I'm not quite sure why they were that fussed, because now that I go back and look at it, they've had quite a lot of submissions. So I'm a little bit hopeful that they only take one of them, and if they do take one of them, it's Castle of Illusion, because I then agreed and have submitted Wacky Races starring Dastardly and Muttley, which it wasn't until I wrote that Blue Sky post today that I realized that both of those games have the word starring in them. Apparently I love games where it's this starring this. Like, in case you didn't know, this is Wacky Races starring Dastardly and Muttley. There's why? Well, I believe the specific reason for calling it that was because traditionally Wacky Races games haven't included Dastardly and Muttley as playable characters. Usually they are that you race against them, but they're not included as playable characters. And I believe this game was the first time Dastardly and Muttley were available as playable characters. Actually, like the first time ever in the Wacky Races series that Dastardly and Muttley won anything, because traditionally they never won a single race in the cartoons. In the cartoons they got close once. They actually legitimately won a race once, but just before they crossed the finish line, they stopped, got out of the car, and went over to the camera that takes the photo finish to have their picture taken. They were so pleased and proud of themselves. They didn't cross the finish line, and they went and had their picture taken with the photo finish instead. So they didn't win, but they did I say legitimately won. Obviously, they didn't legitimately win. They cheated their way to it, as they always do. But yeah, so the game marks the first time Dastardly and Muttley could actually win. So I think that's the reason for the starring Dastardly and Muttley in the title. So yeah, we'll find out much later on whether I've got either of those in. The interesting thing with those speedruns is I'm in Italy. I've already talked about this. I've mentioned it in my Blue Sky post as well. I'm going to Italy for the last week of sorry, I just noticed on the game. I'm going to Italy for the last week of June because I'm away with work on an international leadership training course because I applied and I got in. Really excited. It's going to be awesome. I'm just going to turn my gain up a little bit on my camera. I'm looking a little dark. That's better. There we go. Now I look like I'm not in a dungeon. So yeah, there's that. And I get back on the Saturday, and the speedrun marathon is that weekend. So I've already updated my timings and said I can't. I can only run from the. Luckily, I'm not getting back like at stupid o'clock on Saturday. I'll be getting back sort of midday or afternoon on Saturday, so I'll be nicely recovered in time for Sunday. But it's obviously I'm gonna have to get practice in and other stuff, so I'm a little concerned about whether I'm gonna have enough time to practice. I don't know yet, which is why I kind of hope that it's only going to be Castle of Illusion. But on the other hand, I'll take my phone with me to Italy. I will get a PS2 emulator because I'm pretty sure PS2 emulation's fine on phones. I mean, I can play Castle of Illusion on my phone without any issue. But hopefully I could get a PS2 emulator on there, and I can update, make sure that I'm practicing Wacky Races whilst I'm there. So hopefully that's going to be all right. Yeah, on top of all that, I'm a tech staff for Preventathon. We had a session on Sunday evening. They've decided to go with ST UK as the base package. for it. It does now, after some conversations I had today, realize that it needs a massive change. The way audio and stuff is captured is going to have to be completely redone because of the way that they do their tech. They need something done a particular way, which doesn't work with the setup. But I can adapt it and update it, and actually, it's going to work out better because it's going to mean that there's going to be multiple options for anyone taking the package in the future. So I'm hoping that that's going to be a really useful thing. Yeah, let's get started. So I want to get started with this run because then after a run of Jade Cocoon, we are going to jump into Klonoa 2. Now, don't worry. I've already tested and sorted everything out with my controller set up for Klonoa 2. It is working as intended. So we're all good on that front. There's no issues with having to go through tech support for 20 minutes before we can start that run. Before we get started with this run, I will once again do the whole game properties, this is what we're doing and why, because I still haven't uploaded a run with these settings yet, and I need to do that. But actually, before we get started, one thing I am going to do is I'm going to have a look at I do have a bunch of states for this. That's the chosen one. Work backwards. This is good. So what this is the one bit that's really holding me back in these runs at the moment, is this Hunter's Warp. Not this Hunter's Warp, this one's fine. It's this Hunter's Warp. So that dragon thing is like yellow, is very green. So that's no good. Now he's a bit more yellow, that's right. Right, my legs not quite up against the thing. I'm hoping that this is correct. Cool. Right. Can confirm. I am much better off trying to do that one than I am trying to do the other one. Look, and there's a green. Cool. This is fine. This is exactly what I need to be doing. This is going to be faster, but I am gonna load that one more time and just try it one more time. I think it was global state 5. Oh, so there I went too far in. Actually, that works in my favor, because now when I do this, because I've already done an elemental transition, that dragon is now the correct color. All I gotta do is walk forwards until my leg is nearly touching. There we go. Leg is nearly there's a tiny, it's difficult to see, but there's like a branch or a plant or something on the right hand side, and basically hug the left side wall and walk forwards until a point where there is just the tiniest gap between the branch, the plant on the right, and Levant's leg. And that should be enough to hunt his earring to the end. Perfect. See, and there we are. This is where I've been going wrong, and the thing that's been losing me a bunch of time in runs, because if you get that wrong, and you're not far enough forwards, you get teleported back. You get teleported all the way back to the village that you start in. Well, the village that you do the second half in, and I'm dead. And you have to redo like a huge section of walking around. Just like here, I'd now have to go back in and redo all of that, but it's fine. I don't need to do that now. So right now I have no health, because of course we don't go straight back into the spider forest from here. From here, we would now go back into Dragonfly Forest, because we use a Hunter's Warp to skip from Dragonfly Forest into Spider Forest. So that's why it's hugely important that we don't get that wrong, because it's a big amount of time. And what I have been doing is I'd actually been going through to the next room and going back and doing it that way. And that one seems to be even less consistent for me. So we're going to reset and we are going to get started with this run. Just drop my camera down slightly. Apparently I moved some stuff around. So whilst the game is loading, here are the settings that I'm using. So I'm running this on DuckStation because DuckStation is arguably the best PlayStation 1 emulator out there. It's certainly the most up-to-date. It's the one most people use. And I'd like to submit this run with the settings on DuckStation because the current settings that are being used, or I say current, the game hasn't been run in a little while, and it seems to all be based on an older emulator just called PSX, and the way that it's talked about in the forums and stuff seems to suggest the reason that emulator was used is because it has faster loading times than some others. Because others will have more accurate loading times, whereas that one has faster loading times. So what I've done with DuckStation is I've used the same settings that Metal Gear Solid 1 uses. Because what Metal Gear Solid 1 tries to do is it tries to emulate the fast disk speed setting you get from the PlayStation 2, and you also get from the PlayStation Vita, PSP, PSTV. So it doesn't affect frame rate, there's no frame skipping or anything like that. All it is about loading and seeking from the disk. So to do that, I think it's the console settings. Most stuff is left at its usual settings, but execution mode, actually that is that's left as it normally is. Enable clock speed control overclocking, underclocking is enabled and set to 600% rather than 100%. So that determines the config. That is. Selects the percentage of the normal clock speed the emulated hardware will run at. So it's not speeding up the gameplay, it's speeding up the emulation. So the emulator is working faster and working better. And then on the CD-ROM emulations, this is about loading time specifically. We set this read speed up from none double speed to 2 times quad speed. Don't go any further than that. And seek speed up from none to 10 times. So this is how fast it loads and how fast it comes from the disk. So these are the same settings that Metal Gear Solid 1 uses, and I'm hoping that any verifiers looking at this, because this hasn't been done before, so I'll mention it in descriptions and stuff like that, hopefully we'll see this and go, okay, yep, this seems acceptable. And the best thing to do would be to actually compare the load times that I have in this with load times of other runs, just to compare. If it turns out that my loading times are faster, then yeah, these settings need looking at. But that can't happen until I've at least submitted it and given it a go. So let's do this. We need to go into the options first of all. We do have a color option of what color our menus are going to be. If anyone wants to shout out which color they'd like me to use, I'll take whichever is the first answer. The animation cut, we leave animation cut on, turn speech off, and turn magic capture and capture off. I see purple, so I'm going to go with purple. All right, time starts the moment I hit start game. In 3, 2. Oh, you may have noticed I fixed my mic shock mount. 1, go.
Start.
Yay! Snake's back. Right, so mash. So we've got about 10 minutes of mashing before anything really starts in this run. Anyone who's been watching this run for a while will know this. Mash. So lots of mashing. So we leave animation skip on so that we can actually skip the animations that the characters make. The dialogue is set to instant, so it instantly appears. Gonna go home. Have a chat with Mother. Mother's like, oh, big day tomorrow. Best get to bed. Sweet dreams. So we head off to bed. Unfortunately, Levant has these horrible recurring nightmares. It stems from the trauma of his father running away, among other things. And you know, the burden that his father has on him as a cocoon master is now being passed on to him. He's having a bad time, and he doesn't deal with it very well. Mental health is very important, folks. If you're suffering from bad dreams or you know, because of trauma that you have in your life, make sure you talk to people. That's not a bit, by the way. That's genuine advice. So I'm just going to run forwards. Then Lou's going to come here, and Lou's going to get in my way. Just going to keep running forwards until we come across Dream Man. Here he comes. It's Dream Man. Dream Man's going to attack us. We're going to attack him back. The only way we know how, with a very, very light stab. He's going to summon his minion. His minion's name is aptly Minion. It doesn't have another name. It's just Minion. It's going to do a front flip. I love that the dragons do a front flip as their attack. It's so funny. Look. Ooh. Oh no, he's doing his... Oh, no, he missed. That's a time loss. Oh, wow. I did not know. Oh, maybe he's... Okay, that's not a time loss because he then did his special and just killed me. So that's Dream Fight 1 over. And a gold split, apparently. Not quite sure what I did to deserve that gold split, but oh well. There's demons. Flying demons are coming. Here they come. Oh my gosh. I'm pleased to confirm YouTube is working correctly again. That gold split notification went to both YouTube streams and not 2 to the same one. It's a Christmas miracle. So yeah, the locust monster things are attacking. Resident Nagi mage Garai uses a big old spell to dispel them. I'm mashing X for some bizarre reason. I don't know why I'm mashing X. We don't need to do that. We just have to wait. I can't remember what I was going to say. I was going to say something and I can't remember what it was. Yeah, she dispels the creatures. But unfortunately, they did put a bunch of villagers to sleep. So now the chieftain has summoned Gerai and his advisor Jibara together to decide what to do about it. Gerai explains that the best thing they can do is to appoint Levant, as the next Cocoon Master, so that we can go off into the forest and learn how to fix it. In order for Levant to become a Cocoon Master, he must go through a coming-of-age ceremony. Marriage. He must marry his girlfriend, who is also a Nagi, is a sort of a Nagi mage in training. Mayhu? I can never bloody remember her name. It'll come up again in a minute. It begins with M. Marbu, that's it. So they're now married, so that she can perform all the Nagi magic that is required, such as healing and purifying cocoons for Levant to use. Basically, she's Nurse Joy. She's the Pokemon Center. all rolled into one. She is Nurse Joy and the PC, all in one form. But the thing with purifying cocoons, we're only going to do it once, is unlike in Pokemon, when once you've captured a minion, you capture it as a cocoon, and you cannot use it until it's purified. So once we're going to capture 2 minions. Once they've been captured, we have to take them to Mabu before we can start using them. We're not actually going to use them for a while. Here is another minion. We're being attacked in our sleep by the Dream Man. He's set this Patai-Mel on me. This is, again, these are all scripted fights. And the Patai-Mel is one that we will actually defeat. 3 hits, I think it is. So slap that. All right, 4 hits. Lovely. Don't worry that my split already appears to be disappearing. That's because I forgot to split during my PB. Oh no, because I haven't got a new PB. Oh no, sorry, no. That's because I didn't split on my gold split for this, or I forgot to split, so I have my gold splits lower than it should be. Here comes the dragon. If you could use your special, like right now. It never does. It always uses its special on turn 3. It'll now use its special and kill me. There we go. So we're still 6 seconds ahead. That's nice. I think my mashing is a little bit better today. Combination of mashing and remembering to hit start at the right times, because there's all of these, there's dialogue, and then there's also a bunch of I need to go to Garo's house now. Oh, we automatically go to Garo's house. There's dialogue which we skip with the X button, but then actual cutscene. There's cutscenes that we can't skip, and then there's pre-rendered cutscenes that we can skip. And the pre-rendered cutscenes that we can skip, you skip with start rather than X, which is really annoying. Right, so now we need to head to the watchtower. We shouldn't mash that, because Lou here's got the key. So we need to get the key from him. And now we can leave. So it heads to the forest gates. Lou's a bit of a brat. He kind of doesn't like Levant, because he sees that Levant's just he thinks that he could do a better job of protecting the village of Levant, and the only reason why Levant's been chosen is because his dad was a Cocoon master. But then we get to this point and he feels a bit bad, and he's like, actually, you've had this thrust upon you without really wanting it or asking for it. I'm gonna help you out. So he at least leads us to the gates. So now we're going to go into our first forest, the Beetle Forest. And in the Beetle Forest, we need to find the blue Cocoon. There he is. Found him. So the blue Cocoon Mage acts as our tutor. We are gonna do 1 training session with him. He offers a bunch of different training, but we're only gonna do 1. And that is capture. The reason we do capture is because we get to keep the minion at the end of it. This is going to be one of our 2 minions. So now we're going to capture. This is scripted. We will capture it. There's not going to be any problem there. Snap. Right, so we are done with the tutorial. We are done with the opening. We are now going to make our way. Oh, I can never get past this. One day I'll work out how I'm supposed to get past it. Oh, it's attacking me straight away. That's interesting. retreats. Nice, we retreat successfully. There is a chance to fail at retreating. I think I want to be on this side now. I always get past that one. I usually get past that one. We're going to do our first warp of the game. So we're going to stand here. We're going to use the Hunter's Earring. This is essentially an escape rope. But because we use it and go into a loading zone as we use it, it does an unintended warp. And this one warps us to the Blue Cocoon Master's home. There we go. That's the first forest complete. We're going to be using that warp a lot. It is massively game breaking, and it really, really speeds up the speed run. Oh, I wasn't supposed to listen to that. Right, so now we want to head out, and we're going to go back to the forest gates, back to the barrier gate. We're going to go to our next forest, the Dragonfly Forest. We exit out of the Beetle Gate because there was an unresolved warp. We're going to head into the Dragonfly Forest where we're going to capture our second monster. And I forgot the shop again. This is a mistake I quite often make. I forget to go to the shop after the first journey. So town shop. Let's do this. Shop. We want to sell this Valerian powder. And we want to buy 2 of these and 1 of these. All right, off we go. Try that again. Back to the forest gate. Oh, damn it. I could have gone straight. You can go straight to the next forest. Once you've been to one of these forests, when you go back to the forest gate menu, you get the option to just go directly to the forest. Anyway, we're back on track now. I'm going to do an elemental transition, which is where I load in, load out, load back in again. That should give me the correct element of this Mardrag, which is air. We need it to be air. If it was not air, then we'd be it would be earth instead, and that's not what we want. It's going to attack a couple of times. Attack it back. It's going to attack again. I am going to heal at some point during this, just letting him do a bunch of damage to me first. The heal is kind of worth it. Slap. We want to get him down into the red. Hasn't done a special on me yet, which is a little worrying. Yeah, because now I'm dead. Oh. Right, so at this point, we kind of want to reset, unfortunately. It's a royal pain in the butt. I forgot to go to the shop anyway. So this run was already a problem. I should have healed beforehand. I had thought, but I thought, well, I'm already behind. Maybe I'll take a chance. So we are unfortunately gonna reset this. Reset. Because I'm resetting it, that also means I need to. I'm gonna just move my camera again. Because I'm resetting it, it also means I need to go through the whole preamble of what I'm doing with the game properties. So we will do that as well. So let's start this over. Jade Cocoon. I'm running Jade Cocoon on the Duck Station emulator, which hasn't been used, as far as I'm aware, for Jade Cocoon runs before. Previous emulators have previous runs have used an emulator called PSX, which I haven't heard of. So I know what PSX is, but I've never heard of the emulator PSX. And it seems that the intention of the reason for using that emulator is because it has faster loading times than others. So it seems that it's perhaps trying to replicate the PS2, the PS TV, and the PSP fast loading speed option you get in on those emulators, because basically they are emulators on those as well. So what I'm doing for Jade Cocoon on DuckStation is I'm copying Metal Gear Solid on how the Metal Gear Solid speedrun deliberately uses some settings in DuckStation to try and mimic that fast disk speed and get a comparable loading time. It doesn't affect the frame rate of the game. The game still runs at the same frame rate. 30 FPS? It's either 30 FPS or 60 FPS. I can never remember. Like the video's right now, it's showing me that the video's running at 60 FPS, but the game's running at 15 FPS. I never understand the difference. But yeah, it still runs at the same speed. There's no frame skipping or anything like that. In fact, I can probably... where is... I don't even know where frame skipping is. Is it in graphics? Is it in console? I don't even know. There you go. I don't even know where... As the emulation speed is left at 100%. We don't use turbo. Yeah, I don't know where. I don't even know where frame skipping is, so I wouldn't be able to. In advanced, I wouldn't even be able to use it if I wanted to. What the heck is frame skipping? I genuinely have no idea. This isn't it. It's not BIOS. Anyway, it doesn't matter because I'm not using it, but yeah, I don't even know where it is. What it does use is CPU emulation is overclocked to 600% rather than at the standard value of 100%. So this is how quickly the emulator works and how quickly the emulator compiles. It's got nothing to do with the game's speed. It's all to do with how fast and how efficiently the emulator works. But the main one for giving you faster loading speed is the CD-ROM emulation. So this is the emulation of essentially reading from the disk. If you left this at normal settings, then it should match up with what you'd expect from PlayStation 1. But instead, we double the read speed up from none, double speed to 2 times, quad speed, and the seek speed up goes from none normal speed to 10 times. So that gives us... I'm not sure if that gives us the fastest loads possible. I don't know if read seek up would go further. But I'm assuming that going any higher would either is detrimental or doesn't do anything. But seek speed up is the important one, because that's how quickly it's basically reading the emulated disk. I say these are the same settings that Metal Gear Solid 1 uses. I want to use them on DuckStation as a sort of to show it off and say this is what we could do. Which, I'd compare this run's load times to the world record and stuff like that to make sure they compare. Yeah, this is what I'm doing as part of this submission to hope that DuckStation can be used in the future, because it's a very, very good emulator, and I don't want to have to download another emulator. It's another run. Anyway, let's get started. So we're going to go options. We want display on instant, speech off, autoplay automatically goes to off, magic FX, capture FX off. Oh, and color. This is actually my second attempt already. So we're going to go with the same color that we had last time, which was purple. And 3, 2, 1, go. Let's get mashing. And we're off. So lots of mashing. Mashing of the start button to skip the opening cutscene. And now skip to mashing X. Wait for it, Nick. Go. Wait for it. Go. That's it. Go home. Have a chat with mother. As all good mothers do, sends us to bed. And now we get a break from mashing. Oh, really itchy nose. Tango. Levant suffers from nightmares. Is his father left for the forest and never came back?
His son is still so young. Too young to become a Cocoon master.
And now the village basically wants him to become the next Cocoon master, but he's too young. He's worried that being too young is going to be a problem. So now this is just a dream. Dream sequence is all very, very, very much scripted. Try and get past Mabu. Blue's gonna now get in our way as well. I'm gonna run over and find Dream Man. Here is Dream Man. We're just going to attack Dream Man over and over again. Well, no, we're going to attack Dream Man once, and then he's going to release his minion, called Minion. And it's going to kill us, because this is scripted. It will now do another attack, which is going to miss, apparently. And now he's going to do a special attack, which is going to kill me. Kablamo. So all scripted. It's intended to happen. Yes! Another gold split. Getting better at this first split every time. Mother wakes us up. It's like, what are you, Levant? You were having a nightmare again. Into another cutscene. Whilst this cutscene plays. Sorry about that. I had a really itchy nose because I needed to blow it. And I didn't think you wanted to see that or hear that on stream. So I moved out of the way to do it. So the village is under attack by these locust swarm minions, demons, things. The town mage dispels them, but a bunch of villagers still get put to sleep. So now the chieftain gathers Garai the mage and his chief advisor together to try and work out what to do next. And Garai explains that they need a herb from the forest, or from one of the forests. She doesn't know where it is, but they should make Levant a Cocoon master. Officially make him a Cocoon master so that he can go out and find it. In order for Levant to become a Cocoon master, he must marry a Nagai mage. So he is going to marry Mabu. So here comes Garai to perform the ceremony. And here comes Mabu to be part of the ceremony. She's going to shuffle over. Anytime you like, love. No. Yeah, no, but... Yes, we're married. Beautiful, isn't it? And now, in the evening, like all newlywed couples do, they're gonna have a chat at the watchtower. Hot. Blue comes and pisses him off. See you later, tiger, is not what she says. It's see you tomorrow. They're married, they don't even get to sleep in the same bed. Because they're still both kids. It's the shocking thing about it. It's different culture. I don't actually know how old they are.
According to tradition, I hereby proclaim your coming of age.
It says coming, Levant, the part of the marriage is Levant coming of age. So I think it's probably assumed that they're both at least 16. 16 is a very typical coming of age in a lot of cultures. But don't quote me on that. I have no idea. I could just be making that up. So we're going to get attacked by this dream Patamel. We're going to defeat it. This is, again, this is a scripted fight. We will always win. I'm assuming you can lose this if you just defend over and over again and never attack it. But if you did that, it would take a very, very long time to beat. Dream Man is a little bit impressed, but he still decides to attack us with his minion called Minion. Here he comes. So I'll attack him again. Haja. It's going to summon Minion. Who's going to front flip onto our face. Go on, do a front flip on the face. Wacha! We'll attack it and it's going to be useless. As you may have guessed, that this fight is also scripted. And he'll now do a special move that kills me. Kablamo. So Mother wakes us up again. Levant, you were doing it again. You better get going, Levant. You have a busy day of doing stuff. I don't know, I'm like preparing to move, but this is all automated here. Garai explains our mission, which is you must go into the Beetle Forest, find the Blue Cocoon Master. He will give you some information about where we might possibly find this herb that will save the village. We get given a ring that means that if we die, we won't die. We'll just teleport out of the forest. After the Silk Mill. Sortaloo, get the beetle key. Go straight to the forest gates. Yeah, gold split. Yeah, half a second. Love it. Lee feels sorry for us because we've just had this responsibility thrust onto us without... Thrust onto... I can't get my words right this evening. I said a Seek Mill and thrust. Responsibility thrust upon us. Turn right. Into the Beetle Forest to find the Blue Cocoon Master. There he is. The Blue Cocoon Master is already there. But that doesn't mean he's going to go easy on us. He wants us to prove that we are a Cocoon Master as well. So we play our flutes. Play the song of the Cocoon Master. So he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you're a Cocoon Master. That's fine. You better tell me what's happened. So we tell him what's happened. He's like, oh my. Well, I suppose I should probably help you. And he's going to teach us how to capture. So we're going to attack this Harpatron. Now we're going to capture it. This is a scripted capture. It always works. And this will be one of 2 minions that we use throughout the game. Say goodbye. And move on. Onto my never-ending quest to try and get round this Patamel. Which I can never do. I think you can only get past it if it doesn't run all the way forwards. Pretty sure if it runs all the way forwards, there's nothing you can do. Whoops. Push the wrong button. Hug the left side, because there's another Patamel there. Oh, and it just got me. That one attacked me. So we want to be, throughout the run, we want to try and avoid as many encounters as possible. There are some encounters that we're going to want to take part in. Oh, I took one step too far there. We want to do an unintentional warp. We're going to use the Hunter's Earring, which is essentially an escape rope, which is supposed to send us back to the barrier gate. But because as we used it, we moved into a loading zone, it instead does an unintended warp to the Blue Cocoon Master's hut, which is the end of the Beetle Forest. That's it, we're done with the Beetle Forest. Right, she's going to try and tell me a story. I need to make sure I skip it this time. No, say goodbye. So now we need to go to the Dragonfly Forest and find this bird man that we were told about. But first of all, we want to go to the town shop, which I've gone past, haven't I? Yep, there it is. So we're going to shop. We're going to sell this Valerian powder. And we're going to buy 2 Meta Mugworts and 1 Sharb Liquor. And now we're going to head off to the Dragonfly Forest. Back to the forest gates. Back to the barrier gates. We're going to go into the Dragonfly Forest. Now, normally here, I would do what's called an elemental transition, just where we go into the next area, out again, and back in again. But because I fumbled the first Hunter's Warp and already did an extra loading zone, shouldn't need to do it. Should be able to go straight through, and this should be yellow, and it is. So this is Mardrake. This is the second minion that we're going to be using throughout the game. I need to make sure at some point I heal against this before it kills me, particularly as I've already taken some damage. Again. Because also it's going to do a special move on me at some point, which does more damage. Right, after its next attack, I should heal no matter what. Because that could now kill me. So we're going to use a Meta Mugwort so that Levant's nice and healed. Just to play it safe, be on the safe side. Attack it again. That should now put it into the red, which it does. Now he's using a special. No, and now we're going to try and capture it. Now we only have a capture level of 1. This Mardrake has a capture level of 3. So there's a very good chance this fails. This is the other reason why we heal. Lovely. First try. Right, now we can move on. Want to try and get past this one without getting into an encounter. Lovely. Getting past that without getting into an encounter is a bit tricky. Oh, it's attacking me straight away. Ow. Oh, it's faster than I am, so it gets 2 attacks in. Hope this retreat works, because if it doesn't... Oh, please don't kill me. Please. Okay, I'm going to use the other one just to be on the safe side, because I can't afford... This is horrible. This RNG sucks. Come on, escape. Thank you, Levant. Bloody hell. Well, that was horrible. So now it's really important that I try and get to the end of the forest without any more encounters. Without taking any more damage, because I need to... Oh, no, I haven't got a Meta Mugwort for... Shit. I haven't got a Meta Mugwort for... I should have just used a normal Mugwort, not a Meta for getting that fight. Anyway, oh, I got a key. We're going to run over to this chest. Use this key. Oh, nearly. And I'm going the wrong way anyway. I'll go back this way. don't know if I've already screwed this run up. Oh, got around that though. That's nice. That's one less encounter. We deliberately leave and go back in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, a little bit. Right, I now want to equip the silver crown. I now want to use the hunter's earring. No, I want to use the mugwort that I got. I'm just going to have to try and do it with 2 mugworts rather than a meta. I shouldn't have used my second meta. I should have just used the one. That's going to teleport us right to the end of the Dragonfly Forest, where we're going to find the Birdman, whose name is Kickknack. Need to edge forwards and grab that. Now get into the fight against Kickknack. Let's see what happens. This could fail. Should not have used my second meta. It was really stupid. We're going to use these Agni Seals. These are magic. And the ring that I put on gives me increased magic damage. Straight in there. So I'm going to use 3 of these and then finish them off with an Agni Seal 2. Give me a good kick. He's faster than I am, so he gets 2 hits in. I now need to use this mugwort again. I might just need to use the second one straight away. There's a lot of time here. Yeah, I think this is over. Using 2 like that is too slow. Like, I just need this to be one attack that doesn't kill me. If he attacks again, oh, we're good. We can continue. Oh, I thought I was donezoed. Do we ask about the Calabash herb? And then say goodbye. I wouldn't worry too much about my time, like, knocking down... you know, I can take names. Going right down there. I think that's intended because I forgot to use the shop in my PB. So that's why Mardrag was massively ahead. And then I went and used the shop afterwards, I think. I can't remember exactly. All right, so we show Garai the Calabash herb, say goodbye. Now, normally I wouldn't talk to Marbu here, but I've got no health, so I need to perform Nagi magic now. The disadvantage, I'm also going to purify my cocoons and get them prepped, which we wouldn't normally do until after the next forest. The disadvantage of doing this now is there's going to be an extra cutscene to skip, but this is more important. There we go. This also takes longer. just basically everything. Doing this now just takes longer. Say goodbye. Luckily, it's not a very long one, but it's still, you know, it all adds up. Right, back to the forest gates, back to the barrier gates. Again, we'll come out of the Dragonfly Forest because we've got an unresolved Hunter's Warp. And into my favourite forest, the Spider Forest. Not because it's spiders, but the music's really funky. And we're going to do some more Hunter's Warps here. We're going to do our first warp here. So walk until there. That should be enough. Do a Hunter's Warp here. This should warp us to the end, to walk about sort of like 2/3 of the way through the forest. Yeah, to here. We're good. I'm going to get into a fight with this because I'm going to deliberately take this. Yeah, I want the extra liquor there because I'm worried about gold. There's an extra item earlier that I sometimes get, which I missed. Oh, that's nice. And also, I've used more mugworts and stuff than I would necessarily expect. I do think I buy a liquor from the shop. I don't think I need it. I think I'm still going off off the old guide that buys it, and like the old guide in the old guide you I'm glad that retreat worked. In the old guide you actually fight Kickenack with your minions. And I think that's why the liquor from the shop is a thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let that take 4 steps. Now I should be able to get past it without... See me? These are like weeping angels from Doctor Who. They don't move unless you do, unless your back's turned. But that is the spider forest complete. We have this unskippable cutscene. The worst part is because I took that beating from that that one minion, I am still going to have to talk to Mabu again to heal. Because she's right there. It's worth doing it to heal rather than using another item. So I'm already worried about gold this run. I don't actually know what's happening in this cutscene. All I know is that the little dude comes over and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Go away. You're a human. You ruin everything. Piss off, ghost." Oh, excuse me. That was very rude. So now it's time for the disaster. So I'm going to talk to Mabu. She's going to explain that Garai's been taken off to the chieftain's estate. This is where we would normally sort out... We get healed and we'd sort out our Cocoons. Oh, I didn't know you that one. I didn't know that menu wrap. That's useful for the future. So I'm going to head to the chieftain's estate. Get inside. Have a chat with this dude, and he's like, "No, the chieftain said no one can come in here." But it's not the chieftain; it's his advisor. His advisor accuses Garai of being the reincarnation of some goddess. Garai confirms that she is the reincarnation of the goddess that he suspects her of, but he thinks that she's there to like do damage to the village and is evil, but she's not. So she decides to sacrifice herself, thus casting a spell on the entire village, putting them all to stone. All except for Levant and Mabu. Because by doing so, it seals the village's fate with Levant. Now, Levant is the only person who will be able to rescue the village. And he will have to do it by becoming the Cocoon Master and combining light and darkness. And his journey he has to complete. And that's important. Basically, the way Garai sees it is it's got to be Levant's way or it doesn't work. So she forces the village to make it Levant's way. Mabu has, because she's a Nagi, she has gone into this sort of cocoon form where she's now like a fly or a Navi or whatever you want to call it. Come here, Mabu. And we can carry her around. But she has to stay in her cocoon state because she's very, very weak. Now, we are the chosen one. And we must go to... We must now go to the final forest. Which is the Moth Forest. Because that is where the Nagi village is. And that is where we can continue our quest. So we're going to head into the Moth Forest. First thing I'm going to do as soon as we get in is run over and grab some equipment. And we are going to... There's the excellent look at that one. We now need to equip Riketz's garb. And we're going to use a sleep spore. This puts every monster in the game to sleep. Be careful here. That's the correct one. That's good. No, it's not the... No, that's not the correct one. Damn it. I think... Because there isn't another one. I think I can do this instead. I go into here, they're still the wrong one. So do an elemental transition here. That's not an elemental transition. They're not changing. Why are they not changing? These are the wrong minions. I'm very confused. Oh, and I've got into a fight with this one. I don't know what that did. Losing time now. Sucks. It's back and it's still the wrong minion. My splits say red Asher, but it's wrong. I really should change that. It's supposed to be what's called a Shulia, which is what I need to fight. As you can see, I'm just losing loads of time. Here we go. So we're going to use these Agni Seal 2s to do a bunch of damage to it. It's going to attack me back. So 2 of those. And now we're just going to attack it. What if I had another Agni Seal and I was supposed to do that one more time? Oh, I got crit me. Right, and now we are gonna... Oh, it's hit me twice. Now we're gonna summon Mardrag. And Mardrag is gonna land the killing blow. There we go. And the reason for that is because that minion was level 10. That minion was level 10. And because... go away. That minion was level 10. And because Mardrag was only level 3, it automatically bumped up to level 10. If a minion you have defeats another minion... defeats another minion that is a higher level than it, it automatically levels up to that minion's level. So that is how we are training our 2 very, very low level minions. So we've bumped Mardrag up from level 3 to level 10, and we're going to bump Arpatron up from level 1 to a different level with this fight against this poacher. Before we can fight this poacher, I've got no... Oh, I've got a bit of mugwort. I can use one of them. That should be fine. So now we're going to fight this poacher. We're a little behind here. I'm hoping I can catch that time up later. So we will summon Mardrag. Yeah, I didn't need to use that bit of mugwort. I'm not even going to be... I shouldn't be fighting him. Again, I'm worried about money now. So we're going to slap this poacher with Mardrag. Poacher's going to summon his Gigoat. His Gigoat is an earth element, you can see from the E. Mardrag is an air element, which has an elemental advantage over earth. So Mardrag is going to attack Gigoat a couple of times until it's dead. I'm going to defend once, because when you defend, you get some mana back. It costs 10 mana to use the special. So by defending, we get enough back to... Oh, we missed. That sucks. So I'm just going to attack Poacher over and over again. Keep attacking. Right, he's now in the red, so we're going to switch. Oh, shit. Switch to Levant now that he's in the red. Just so that Mardrag doesn't die. I think I needed to hit him one more time. I'm gonna hit him one more. That'll do. Now, Arpatron can survive a single hit from the Poacher. That should kill him. No, he's missed. Ah, well, this one's dead. I can use this Tendai Yuaki to revive Arpatron. Unfortunately, that is a massive amount of gold lost. It means I won't have enough money now to finish the to finish the game. Whoops! I should have just used a special on him. Silly. There we go. The Poacher is dead. Arpatron will level up. But as I say, I'm using that revive is really bad because I now just do not have the money that I need, and I'm also 4 minutes behind. God dang it. I could have played that better. Oh. We go out and we go straight back in. So I'm gonna need all the money I can get now. I don't think I have any more. No, I don't. The problem is, like, I've used an extra bit of mugwort, that's more money. Yeah, there's... I'm now being attacked by another Asher. If I don't retreat here, then I'm probably dead now. God damn it. This run is so dead. We can't go back to the village, so Marbu just wakes us up here. I can try and go through again. There's only a couple of encounters. Hey, Mr. Solidus. Oh, thanks, dude. Again, I don't want to use any healing items because otherwise I'm screwed in this. And it's all done so, but say the run's dead anyway, so does it really matter? I'm trying to think if there's like anywhere else I can go to get items. The only other way of getting items is by getting into encounters and defeating the monsters. If you defeat monsters in encounters, you do get items for it. I have no idea. Like, can I go this way? Is there like items over here? I don't think I've ever been down here. No, I have been down here. But I don't think there's anything here. Ah, there's so many more monsters as well. Whoa, what?
Base, send backup.
Happy dudes.
Alert! Incoming raid from OG Happy Dude with 1 raiders.
Thanks, Happy Dude. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the raid. It's always appreciated. Join me as we're kind of in the middle of a... I was going to say dying run. It's not a dying run. It's a very, very dead run. This run is... RNG has kicked me in the butt, and I also made a couple of mistakes which affect it as well. How you doing, buddy? Have you been practicing for your big GDQ run? What do we do here? I have done this run once where I didn't get one item. There's a sword called Little Bird, which all it's is. That's a good plan. That's a very good idea. It's a sword that gives you increased speed, so it's very, very useful and very important. I don't think... I have completed a run without it, so I don't think it's mandatory. It's really useful. And with this run already being 4 minutes behind, and kind of like, do I even carry on anyway? I do have time to restart this run and then do a run of Klonoa afterwards. Or we could switch to Klonoa, do a run of Klonoa, and then come back to this. The thing is, if I do finish this run, if I do keep going and I finish this run, then I don't have time, I don't think, to do 2 more runs of other stuff. One thing with doing speedruns are about an hour. Because Klonoa will be about an hour and 40. But doing speedruns of around an hour like this is if you need to reset any point, then that's probably a whole run gone. Like, I stream for 4 hours. I should comfortably be able to do 3 runs of this every stream. But with resets and also we have chats at the start and stuff like that. So it never happens that way. All right, we're gonna finish. We'll finish if I can. Let's see what my status is at the shop. So we're about to go for our big shop. If I can get everything I need except for that one sword, then we'll give it a go. We'll keep going because it's all good practice. But I still haven't got a run for the leaderboard yet. Yeah, I'm right. That extra liquor that I keep buying. From the first shop isn't necessary. I'm buying it for an old strat, which I don't use. One thing I still haven't done actually is go back and watch the world record and see whether the world record does anything different. It is something I've been meaning to do. Yeah, I should be able to, as long as it is fairly brief, because I should be heading. I'm in the office 2 days in a row this week. So as long as it's fairly brief. Whoops, I'm supposed to buy supplies first. Well, actually, I'm supposed to sell supplies. We sell 2 of them. Sharp. We keep the excellent liquor, I think. Bitter mugwort. There you go. They're 375. That's why we don't want to use 2 of them. We don't. Yeah, sell those because the excellents are cheaper and we only need excellents. Okay, I've got 3 grand. Isn't enough. Because I need to buy 6 of these. I need to buy 3 of these. I have 3 already. I need to buy 2 Mirror of Devas and 4. I think it's 4 Sleep Spores. Can't remember now. Yeah, I've got not even close to enough money. Sell the dagger. Sell the hunter's vest. Any money I can get at all. Oh, I was supposed to unequip something. Buy... So there's Little Bird, which I can't afford. I don't need that. There is the Sparrow Ruff. Yeah, I don't have enough. It was the Revive's the main one. So I'm nearly 6 minutes behind. The Revive's the main one. The Revive is like it's like well over $1,000. I also don't know if I've bought enough sleep spores. I can't remember if it's 4 or 6. I need to check my notes. I don't know why I can't remember. I've been doing this for weeks without any notes at all, and all of a sudden I can't remember. No, it is 4. Oh, and I'm going to use one right now. Also, according to my notes, it's not 6 meta mugworts. It's 10 mugworts. 4 sleep spores, 2 mirrors, 7 liquors, and 10 mugworts. I think that's because we don't ever need to heal Levant in battle. Be much better than I am. We're not that far off the end. But yeah, I do a heck of a lot better than I'm doing. And we do need to get into a fight with something fire-based. That thing's water. I think now if I reload that, it should now be fire. No. Normally I come across something fire-based. Again, all of my loads and stuff have been all over the place. I'm not quite sure yet what my plan is for the marathon. Save states is one option. I could, during the marathon run, just save the game normally, like using the actual memory card function. I was kind of hoping that as I got closer to marathon day, that I'd have improved. But there is a heck of a lot of RNG in this. Oh, great. 2. I can't fight 2 at once. But I've had save states for other games. Yeah, this is all kind of... I need to fight a fire minion. But fire minions don't want to spawn. I'm well past the point where I should have already... Oh, there's a skeleton key in there. I should have already used a warp. We warp to here. It's not actually that far that I need to find. There should be fire minions in here. No, that's the teleport. I think I'm just gonna have to kill this run because it's just not going anywhere, is it? I'm just gonna go and fight the fire boss without being the next level and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Maybe it works, and then that's a fight I can skip in the future, but I doubt it. Is everyone okay? Levant needs healing. Let's see what happens. So we were supposed to fight a fire creature before reaching the fire boss, so that our Patron goes to level 12, I think it is. I think right now he's level 11. So this is the fire boss. Summon... yes, our Patron's level 11. ideally we want him to be 12. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Additionally, as I usually do, I've forgotten to use a Mirror of Dava on him. Luckily, I remembered before I've done anything else, though. We're actually fine. We're on track here. You can swap. I think you can swapping like doesn't cost anything. There's no like turn involved in swapping. So right now I can summon Arbitron. I always forget to use that Mirror of Dava first. Mirror of Dava prevents any stats effects. So I didn't take any damage there, but this Turturus has has an ability that drains mana instead, which is really annoying. You just used it again, so I now have no mana. Just gonna defend and get. Because the problem is there's no point in healing right now because I've not taken any damage. Or I've taken very little damage, so I'm just gonna defend twice. And I think the mana problems is why you want Arbitron to be level 12. Because then he has more. Because not only does he have more mana, but he also gains more mana from defending. Right, now's the right time to switch. This is actually perfect timing to switch. Yeah, I can already see. I think I'm going to be able to do it, but it's just a lot slower. So use this excellent liquor on Arbitron. The other problem I've got now is I really don't want to get killed by that. Ow. Right. Now let's see if we can kill this thing. It's dead. That's good. So the other thing is with the oh, I got a crit on. That was nice. No, and Arbitron's dead. That was enough. So this is the other thing. Arbitron wouldn't be dead. Yeah, this run is now completely done. Because Arbitron isn't going to heal. Yeah, it's over. I can attack him, but it's not going to do anything. In fact, I'm going to die from the poison. In fact, I'm going to die. Yeah, it's done. We're done. It's over. Finished. Finite. Run is dead. I don't actually know what happens here. But yeah, to be honest, I probably will just do save states because it is going to be safer. This is the kind of run. It's very if something goes wrong with it, it's quite difficult to recover, just because like all of your items are one use only, and you can run out of money. So you know it's very difficult. It's very difficult to recover a run that's gone really bad. So yeah, I'll either create a bunch of saves within the game. And go back to them that way, because I feel that's a bit more legit than using a save state. I certainly won't be like doing save states as I go through the run, but I'll need to figure out something, because yeah, it's a big risk. I'm not consistently finishing runs yet, and I've got a little over. In fact, I've got a month to get to that point. During a marathon, it doesn't really matter. Anything goes. You can kind of do what you want in a marathon setting, because nobody's gonna you're not trying to get world record. Well, yeah, if you do it and you get world record, then obviously your world record's invalid. But it's kind of in a marathon setting, doing something like that is more forgiving, because it's like, well, we don't want this. We don't want to just end the run. The run's impossible to finish. So we'll revert to a save state so that we can at least carry on. I have used save states in marathon. Actually, the only time I can think of when I used a save state was I did Bingo-thon last year with Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, and it was a blackout bingo. I had to do the full card, and one of my bingo options I completely missed. It was I had to survive 1 round of torture, and I completely missed it was on my card, and I had to use a save state because I immediately cancelled the torture. So yeah. But it's kind of like we do what we can to at least keep it going, keep a marathon run going. So, let's say I kind of feel like using the PlayStation's own saves. So these glowing things here, these are the save points. So I already have a bunch of saves on here, but it's probably worth going back through and creating some proper ones if I want to do it this way rather than using save states. But at least that way, people can see what the run is and see it finish. But I am hoping that I can kind of make some improvements. All right, let's take a break from this. Let's switch over to Klonoa. And I do feel like to get this run done that I want to get done, I am probably going to have to do it off stream at some point. But nothing ever wants to stick with this run. It is, yeah, the show must go on, and it is a bit of a bugger, this run, because there's a lot of RNG that can really throw you off, and I'm just not knowledgeable enough yet. I haven't practiced enough yet to know, like, what's the safest option. I also know that I am not optimized properly with some stuff. Like, I'm buying this extra liquor from the shop at the start, which I don't need. I think I'm a bit overly cautious about gold, and then I screw up and don't have enough anyway. Yeah, we're going to take a break. So when we come back, we're switching over to my Preventathon run, which is Klonoa 2. And now Preventathon is the weekend before Speedrun, so I have less time for Klonoa. The difference is I've been running Jade Cocoon for 2 months. I've been running Klonoa 2 for 12 years. So I think that one should be okay. Somehow, I think it's going to be okay. Alrighty folks, welcome back to Tuesday Night Speedrunning here on the Nick RP stream. We are swapping over to Klonoa 2 Lunateer's Veil. Because, yeah, we're just not getting anywhere with... just really not getting anywhere with Jade Cocoon, are we? So let's do this thing! Hello there, welcome back. I haven't actually got the game started yet, so I'm gonna sort that out. But in the meantime, I had an absolutely freaking horrendous time trying to get home this evening. It was awful. So yeah, I went to the train station as I usually do, and hopefully I've got the control set up. Went to the train station as I usually do. The platform was pretty packed. Train turns up, only 2 carriages, a bunch of people get on, but there's not enough space, so I missed my first train. So it's like, okay, well, it's half an hour until the next one. I guess I will go grab something to eat, come bring it back to the platform, wait for the next one. It has happened before. It does happen occasionally. It's supposed to be 3 trains, 3 carriages, not 2. But sometimes they can only send 2. So wait the platform, eat my dinner while on the platform. I watched the trailer for Nobody 2, which looks great. And yeah. Next train turns up. Not only is the next train only 2 carriages, it's also a slightly smaller form factor carriage. It's like I use Chilton, and they have 2 different types of carriages. They have like a standard carriage and a comfy carriage. But the comfy carriage, which doesn't have as many seats, there's not as much space in them. The seats are spaced slightly wide, slightly further apart. So yeah, second carriage was, as I say, the smaller capacity carriages and only 2 carriages, and it was already barely anyone got on the second one. And the problem is because I wasn't stood directly at where the door opens, and there's already a bunch of other people there by that point. You know, no one's going to care that I've already missed the first one. And as I say, only a few people got on anyway because it was already packed. It's like, what? Rush hour, they should know. They know how many people use these services because they have people booking tickets. They have all the data, and it's just fucking terrible. It's the first time on this service that I've ever missed 2 trains in a row. The only other time I've ever missed multiple trains because of delays and because of overcrowding was back on my old route when I used to live in Hemel. Heidi would actually drop me off on her way to work. She wouldn't drop me off at Hemel train station. She'd drop me off at Kings Langley train station. And it was a day where it had been snowing. It was bitterly cold. And like trains were delayed and moved about. And again, there's no consideration at all from anyone from the train services as to what certain thing, like as to how certain trains are supposed to operate and what timetable changes mean, because the journey is, I believe it's Northampton to London Euston, and I used to go Hemel Hempstead to Harrow and Wealdstone for that section of it. And the thing is that there were fast trains and slow trains. The fast trains only stopped at the major train stations, Hemel being one of them. Kings Langley wasn't one of them. And yeah, as I say, this day, because of the snow and all of that, some trains got backed up, and there was like 1 train was cancelled. And so what happened was the next train to come through after the previous one had been cancelled was an all stations train. So it stopped at Hemel, and King's Langley is actually 2 stops after Hemel. So I'd have been fine if I'd gone to Hemel that day, but we thought, it's cold and let's get to King's Langley so you're not there as long and all of that. And it's more on the way to Heidi's work than Hemel train station is. And so the slow train that stops at every station stops at Hemel Hempstead. And then, of course, by that point, there are 2 lots of train passengers at Hemel Hempstead station waiting for a train, plus all the stops before Hemel Hempstead that had already been waiting for 2 trains. So by the time that train reached King's Langley, it was absolutely packed with all of the passengers from the previous, from all of the previous stations. Like 2 people got on and it went. And by this point, I'd already been at the station for like 45 minutes and I was freezing. It was so cold. It was like one of the coldest days of the year. I was absolutely freezing. But of course, what happened next was the more infuriating bit. Because that train had changed, because that one train had been delayed and the next train, they didn't do anything to change it. They just still sent it as the all stations train. The very next train to go after that train was another fast train, only stopping at all the major stations. The problem is, all those major stations had already lost all of their passengers because all of those passengers had got on the previous train, which was an all stations train. So the very next train to go through King's Langley station and doesn't stop at the station because it's a fast train, it's not supposed to stop there, has barely anyone on it. It was so infuriating. It's like, why didn't somebody at the train operator think what this would mean? Because the obvious thing to do is, a fast train has been, the previous train has been cancelled. We're going to have a backlog of people. Let's get a fast train through so that passengers will get on the fast train first and go straight through. And then the slow train the slow train that stops at every station won't be filled with fast train passengers and people can get on. And so I missed 2 trains in a row because the train lines just don't. I don't know who makes decisions, but it sounds like it's nobody. The thing that I don't understand with my train today, coming home, the 2 trains that I missed, what I don't understand is the train that I usually get on, it's supposed to be 3 carriages. It's almost always 3, and even when it is 3 carriages, it's still packed. Occasionally, I won't get a seat. Usually, even when it's 3 carriages, I have to fight for a seat. So I have to deliberately get people to stand up so that I can get in, or I sit in between 2 other people and force my way out. I remember one time where I went to grab a seat. I was like, "Can I have?" I pointed a middle seat between 3. I said, "Can I have that seat?" And one of the guys said, "Oh, are you sure? I use up quite a bit of space." And I said, "It's fine. I'm pretty thin." Because I'm like, yeah, I don't care how much space you're supposed to take up. There's a seat there that's vacant. I've been working all day and I've got a 45, 50-minute journey home. I'm fucking sitting down. That's the other thing that really annoys me about trains. Train passengers who just have no sense or no consideration at all for anybody else but themselves. The amount of times where I'll be sat, because particularly in a morning, it affects me more in a morning. Because in the morning, my stop is the second stop. It goes Aylesbury Vale, Aylesbury, and then all the other lines. So first thing in the morning, I always get a seat because there's no, it's only the second stop. There's barely anyone gets on at Aylesbury Vale anyway. So it's absolutely fine. I always get a seat. But that service then goes to a few different stops, and then its sort of next major stop is Amersham, and loads of people get on at Amersham. So by that point, it's usually pretty full, and you've already got people sort of standing, the people who don't want to sit next to anyone or don't want to try and push people. But the amount of times I'll see a bunch of people stood up, people already stood up, we're approaching a station, that station's got loads of people who want to get on, and there are people sat in their seats, sat in the aisle, with the window seat clear. They can see that people are getting on. They can see that there's a bunch of people now having to stand next to the door because they can't, and they don't think, oh, maybe I should just move. I'll occasionally sit in the aisle seat and put my bag on the window seat. But as soon as I see that the train is starting to fill up and that those seats are going to be needed, move my bag, take the window seat, and make sure that the seat next to me in the aisle is clear. Yeah, you will have to sit next to someone on the train. That's what happens on public transport. Fucking deal with it. The amount of people who just don't care is just, it's just ridiculous. It's kind of what this whole world's coming to. We just seem to be in this constant state at the moment where the only thing anyone has time for is themselves. Nobody gives a shit about anybody else but themselves. It's just sad. It's really sad more than anything. Anyway, let's move on to something that's not, well, actually it is kind of sad. It's actually very sad. Klonoa is a very, very sad game. But we're gonna persevere through that. I'm hoping that all of my setup has worked. There we go, like magic. Beautiful. We are up and running already. The only thing I now need to do is I've got one more thing. The thing with doing Klonoa, there's so many hoops to have to go through to get everything to work. The final thing that I have to do is untick hide physical controller when virtual one is created, because now by doing that, my controls show up on stream. I'm going to go back to just the normal costume. We're going to have the normal costume for a while. Right. We're good. Everything's working. I hope the auto splitter's working. I'll look really freaking stupid if it doesn't work because I'm the developer of it. Right. Shouldn't need to change any other options. We should be all good to go. So this is going to be the same run that I usually do, which is any percent, normal difficulty, support mode. So we're allowed to use Popka for the support mode jump. We're also playing on normal difficulty because that matches the original PlayStation 2 version of the run. And that's it. I also have an FPS counter made bigger on the stream so that we can see it, because the FPS has to be on show at all times. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1, go! And we're off.
Start.
Wonderful. So, for those uninitiated with this run, this is Klonoa 2 Lunacy as well. This is the first speedrun I ever learnt. I've been running this game since 2013, I think. It's either 2013 or 2014 I learnt this. I originally learnt this because after I left university, I was the social secretary and then president of the Lancaster University Gaming Society whilst I was at university. And after I left uni, I went back one holiday. This is my first year after leaving uni. I went back during one of my own holidays because the Gaming Society were having a 24-hour LAN. I took my PC, I took some consoles, and one of the things they were doing during that LAN is they had a projector up and they were showing speedruns on it. I'd watched speedruns. I'd had a look at speedruns on whenever GDQ was on and stuff like that. But I never actually learnt one myself. So I thought about all the games that I knew, and I figured what would be sort of relatively easy to learn in a short time span, but a game that I know like inside and out. And Klonoa 2 was the game that I chose. I love this game. It's one of the first games that my parents bought on our PlayStation 2 growing up, because we had the demo of it. My mum actually really liked the demo. And that's what she bought us the game because she really enjoyed it. Yeah, I played it to death. I absolutely loved it. Oh. Took a hit there, but that's okay. We're all good. So support modes. You can see there's this little doggy following me, Hopka. You can see that I can push a button to make him jump me up in the air. That is the support mode jump. It's controlled with a second controller, but I have a special WASD set up so that I can have both mapped to the same controller. It's very awkward, but it works. Basically, I map most of my controllers though it's a keyboard, so the game recognizes it as keyboard inputs. Except there's a couple of buttons that are still mapped to a controller, and the game interprets those buttons as a second controller, because I then also map one button on my keyboard as a controller, so my keyboard becomes controller 1 and my controller becomes controller 2. It's such an awkward way of doing it. I don't understand why when they did this remaster, they didn't just give us controller options. It's so dumb. But this is what we have to work with. So we now move on to Lalakusha. I love Lalakusha. It's one of my favorite levels just because it's so bright and colorful. The music is lovely. I will try and turn the game volume up a little bit because it's a bit quiet. Yeah, it's a really nice contrast of what we've just seen. So, you know, we've been in the Sea of Tears, which is really dark and eerie. And then we get to this beautiful, lush... It's almost like an indoor forest, I think is the best way of describing Lalakusha. It's lovely. Turn the game volume up just a little bit so you can hear it better. Turn my own... turn my own headset up so I can hear it a bit better. And for the very opening few levels of the game, it's very, very chill. There's not a huge amount happening. We are, in the very next room, going to abuse the 2.5D nature of the game for the first time, and abuse the support jump, because that's the two things that we're going to need to do. So it's right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to stop here, jump, grab this, move, bounce off of it, and then use Popka to sort of completely trick the game into putting us, sort of, we move around the environment. That's about a 10-second time save doing it that way. A little cutscene here. We can move on. But I gravitate back towards Klonoa for speedrun marathons when it's... If I have... At the moment, I haven't really got a marathon run that I'm interested in doing, but I still want to participate in marathons, particularly Preventathon, as I'm now on staff, and I kind of feel like I'm kind of inclined to at least submit and run something now that I'm staff. We're going to throw that because that's going to respawn him, and we can grab another one up there. So we'll grab that one, and it means we can take him with and immediately throw him like that. Grab this one, hop up here. I don't think I needed to grab that one. No, there's one here. Don't know why I grabbed that one. Oh, missed. Whoops. I'll grab another one. Oh, I still missed. Come on, Nick. That's better. So abusing the we abuse the 2.5D nature of the game, but the game also uses it. So you saw that we had to fire into the background or into the foreground, whichever way you want to look at it, in order to swing that pendulum. So the game fully utilizes its 2.5D nature. We just have some options to abuse it as well. All right, so that's Lalakusha complete, and we move on to our first boss. Is Fulgrim, the armor beast. So yeah, when I don't have a speedrun that I'm particularly interested in showcasing, but there's a marathon that I really want to do, or I really want to at least submit to, Klonoa is always one of the games that I gravitate back towards. That and MGS3 are the kind of two games that I feel like I'm always going to have in my back pocket. I guess I could do Unmetal as well, but I've kind of had my time with Unmetal. I've kind of played it to death. So I'm not as keen on showcasing Unmetal. And also, showcasing Unmetal doesn't do anything anymore. The whole point of me going on that big, like, 1 year... Whoops. That big 1 year journey of like showcasing Unmetal all over the place. Now, I had Unmetal in so many marathons when it came out. But the whole kind of purpose of doing that was to, you know, get the game in front of more eyes and, you know, encourage more people to play it and speedrun it. And it didn't work. Nobody gave a crap. So I kind of like, I've given up a little bit with trying to promote Unmetal because I've put my time in, I've done it, and nobody seems to care. Which is fine. These things happen. You know, not everyone wants to play everything, and I'm not going to hold it against anyone. But my time on this earth is finite. There are a lot of other speedruns I want to do. But as I say, Klonoa is one of those games that I just love so much. I love going back to. It's also helpful for Preventathon because Preventathon is very much a kid-friendly marathon. They support Little Warriors, which is a Canadian charity, which is all about helping vulnerable children. So they make sure that all of the runs that they have are very kid-friendly, and you can't get much more kid-friendly than Klonoa. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I feel like I'm afraid my frame rate's not very smooth. It all feels a little bit jumpy. I apparently have a smooth 60 FPS, but it doesn't feel very smooth. Just sometimes seems to happen. So like I'm pretty sure I've submitted Klonoa 2 to every single GDQ that I've submitted for. And the closest I've gotten is I did commentary for Klonoa 1 at SGDQ 2023. Klonoa is also the first game I ever speedrun in a marathon. There was a speedrun marathon back in 2021. I think it was 2021 that I first started speedrunning. I think so. Called Fast Firsts. And the idea with Fast Firsts was that runners were encouraged to submit their first speed run. They were allowed to be a bit ambiguous with it and sort of do, you know, not necessarily the first one they've done, but a first in another way was acceptable. So for example, I submitted Klonoa 2 because it was the first speedrun I learned, but I also submitted Metal Gear Solid 1 because it was the first speedrun that properly got me into speedrunning. You know, that was the, you know, Klonoa 2 I learned, I'd say, like 12 years ago, but I never stuck with it. I never stuck to speedrunning. It was always just, I'd do it occasionally. I'd do it for my own charity streams and stuff like that. Whereas Metal Gear Solid 1, I started speedrunning and then I became a speedrunner. I'm now a full, I primarily stream speedruns. So that's so that was just happened to be the first speedrun I ever did in a marathon setting. And then like 2 hours later, I did my first ever Metal Gear Solid speedrun as well. They were both on the same day. And then that same day, I also learned that I'd had Metal Gear Solid 1 accepted into ESA. So that was pretty exciting. That was a really exciting speedrun day. Whilst I'd been accepted into ESA, this was still just coming out of the pandemic, so it was ESA's online marathon, not their. Oh, I thought I was going to miss that. Yeah, it was their online marathon, not their not a live event. I've still never been to an ESA live event. Don't think I want to until ESA kind of fixes their act and, you know, all of that jazz. Nice. That might be I think that's going to be a gold split. Nice. Gold split. I don't get gold splits in Klonoa very often. Just occasionally. One will come along. So we now move into the fun park. And we're going to ignore a lot of the mechanics of the fun park. There is a little tutorial coming up. We're going to skip that. We're not even going to use the thing that we're taught to use. We're just going to use Popka. And once again, abuse the 2.5D to completely ignore certain parts of the level. Really nice skip there. I'm going to use Popka here to ignore more stuff. Ba ba da ba 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 da ba. Ba da ba 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 da ba 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 ba. Whee! I want to grab this. Oh, I grabbed that straight away. That was lovely. There we go. So that was the helicopter there. That was what we were taught earlier in that cutscene that we completely skipped. We're chasing Tat at the moment. Tat has the ability to split into two halves. One, she did so. One ran off into here, and one ran off into the jungle slider, which was the previous level we did. She's stolen the element that we got from the end of La Lakusha after the boss fight. And it doesn't matter which... We get the choice of which level to do first. Whichever one we choose, the other one will have the element. It doesn't matter which way you go. You're always wrong. I've just always done jungle slider first. Which is funny because in a lot of raises and stuff that I've done Klonoa 2 a couple of times or just the once. I can't remember if I've done it once or twice for Misfit Mascot Relay. And I found that everyone else did the fun park first. I seem to be one of the only runners who does jungle slider first. So we were introduced to switches, but we're going to completely ignore most of the mechanics of them, of course. I did screw that up, actually. I wasn't supposed to do it quite like that. Ow. Oh, sugar. That was bad. Yeah, I made a bit of a mess of that room. That shouldn't have gone like that. Oh, I always forget this as well. I should grab that helicopter and take it with me. Because by grabbing the helicopter and taking it with me, we can start jumping up about... Oh, I went too fast. You can't go too... Oh, and now I've died. When was the last time? Oh, okay, it's just here. Let's just go normally. Damn it. Stupid death. Very dumb death. I was supposed to use the helicopter from the previous room to I've got pop. Why was I waiting for that? Oh, stupid. There we go. This is a room where I will do it correctly. Yeah, I made so many mistakes in that previous room. That was so dumb. There we go. Yeah, you're supposed to use the helicopter from... You're supposed to use the helicopter from the previous room to... Oh, come on! Oh, gee. Man, I'm making such a meal of this. There we go. Off Tat goes. Surprise, surprise, the mini boss was Tat. Very good. Now, there is an IGT time save in this area. Thursday, I'm going to be doing probably one last stream of Twin Snakes very easy because I still haven't got a decent time to submit to the leaderboards for that because that's still out of date as well. So rather than lose all of the practice I've been doing on that, I found it better to keep that going. So there isn't sorry, there is an IGT time save during that cutscene. Excuse me. The game is the remaster that I'm playing. Oh god. Excuse me, let me take a drink. Is recorded in IGT. Wow, I'm only on 2 lives. It's giving me an extra life. Is recorded in IGT. When the IGT only progresses when you have control of Klonoa. So cutscenes, it pauses. World map, it pauses. Any other times where you lose control of Klonoa, it pauses. So like when you get in a cannon, for example, it pauses. Right, there's a very small time save here if I can grab this moo as it's supposed to disappear. Nah, I was slightly too late. Oh, yo, yo, yo! Want to get close to it so that it does its spin attack. Its spin attack is slightly faster. Throw a moo at it. Oh, nearly screwed that up. Bro! I forgot where I was going with that now. Oh yeah, the slight time save. So it's recorded in IGT, but usually because of the way cutscenes work, the game is still running in the background when a cutscene is active. So during that section where you're sort of chatting to Tap whilst on the sort of merry-go-round, the merry-go-round continues to spin whilst you're stood on it. So what you can do is you can wait during that cutscene. There's an indicator that you use. There's a roller coaster going on in the background. I think you wait for it to you wait for the roller coaster to go round like 7 times, I think it is. And then when you skip the cutscene and regain control, Tap will be directly next to you. It's a really good IGT save. But because this is going to be done in a marathon setting, we obviously want an RTA. We want to save RTA, not IGT. I'm going to pull back a little bit of time on Leptio. Because the FPS needs to be shown on for run verification. And because I play on a 1440p monitor, that's Steam's FPS overlay. Because I record on a 1440p monitor, it's tiny. So to make it easier on verifiers seeing it, I deliberately make it bigger. Because yeah, it oh, that was weird. It also the game has to be limited to 60 FPS as well. That's the other thing. So I also have to use my graphics cards settings to limit the FPS to 60. The thing is, for some reason, my graphic card settings do have an FPS counter, which can be made bigger, but it doesn't seem to show up on stream. No matter what I do. It used to work perfectly every time. And then suddenly it just stopped and I couldn't get it to show up on stream anymore. Thank you. This is my third Preventathon. It is quite a departure doing Klonoa. My Preventathon 3, I did Metal Gear Solid 3. Preventathon 4. Preventathon 4. That's not easy for me to say apparently. I did Metal Gear Solid 1, and now for Preventathon 5, I'm doing Klonoa, and I'm also on the staff team. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool. I saw some rather shouldn't really reveal or talk about stuff that's been said in. Actually, it might not have been in a staff channel. It might have been in a volunteers channel. But in any case, Preventathon has a volunteer role called a comms buddy. So they're not hosts. They're separate from hosts. And what they act as is if you've got a runner who doesn't have any commentators but would like one, and not just the host, because obviously the host can't necessarily commentate. The host has got their own things to do. They've got to look at donations, and there's a whole, they manage Tiltify and other stuff like that. So they introduce a role called comms buddies, where you can have a comms buddy join you to do commentary with you, which is quite cool. Oh yeah, no, Preventathon's not going to take a 5-hour Pokemon run. That's a really, really longathon run, that is. Some of the volunteers were talking about some of the I was about to say run submissions, not run submissions. Run submissions are already over. So the runners completing like their forms and stuff. And there's been a few already asking for comms buddies, and there's been a couple asking to. Sorry, no, it wasn't about comms buddies. I don't know why I was talking about comms buddies, because it's actually about hosting. Apparently, the block that I'm in has already had quite a few hosts request that block. Alara made some nice comments about me and hosts. Because one of the things that they try and do is also try and sort of match up hosts with runs that they feel would be best. Like, if they know they've got a runner who's not very confident, it might be their first event, or they've said that they're going to struggle or whatever, then they want to match them up with a really experienced host who can sort of bounce off them and help them out. But Alara specifically said for me. She said Nick doesn't need a host to help him out, because he's got the patter down really well, but he will bounce off a really good host really well as well. I was like, oh, that's nice. I do appreciate some nice feedback. Oh, you should definitely submit your Pokemon run you should definitely submit that Pokemon run to Really, Really Longathon. Cool, I haven't died. I've been a little worried that I might have died this run. This level. And I've actually caught up a bunch of time. See, I'm only 4.3 seconds behind. My MGS3 runs with you commentating have always been a highlight. Right, we're going to do a new trick here. Sweet, first try. That is called the Super Bounce. It's performed by pushing both. Hang on, I gotta concentrate here. It's performed by pushing both jump inputs at exactly the same time. You may notice, there we go. And hopefully, by doing that, I fall through the floor. Lovely, first try. So that was cool. There was a couple of things that happened there. It all happened very quickly, and I also had to concentrate, so I couldn't really talk about it much. So there's two things that happen. There's the Super Bounce. The game has two separate inputs for jumping and shooting. You can jump. The game. This isn't like me doubling up controls or anything. The game specifically has it. Two buttons for jump and two buttons for fire. I think I've screwed this up.
New follower.
I have screwed this up. Whoa! In fact, I've screwed this up really badly. There it is. There we go. Yeah, I made a massive screw up of that. Oh god damn it! I also haven't sent a boomy across. This is horrible. I've completely screwed this up and then floundered horribly. So what I was supposed to... Also, Stone Age Philosopher, thank you very much for following. I knew there was something I was missing. So what I was supposed to do there was skip a trigger. And the trigger I was trying to skip was the trigger to load the door. Instead, I failed to skip that trigger, but still managed to skip the trigger for loading that cannon, which was bad. Shouldn't do that. But skipping triggers, most triggers in the games for loading assets are on the floor. They only trigger when Klonoa touches a certain bit of the floor. And that's what happened with when I went out of bounds and sort of fell. By skipping the trigger for like the scene transition, essentially. Don't need that. By skipping the sort of scene transition, the way it moves round, it skipped loading the floor. Thank you. It skipped loading the floor. And so I was able to go out of bounds, fall through because the next area is underneath that. It saves about 20 seconds, I think. It's not a huge one, but it's probably one of the more impressive skips in the... apparently, it's a skip so impressive that it caused someone to instantly follow the channel. So it's clearly paid off. We've got another little skip here by using both the analog stick and the D-pad at the same time. We can force Klonoa to go underneath that pipe whilst carrying an enemy. Normally, whilst carrying an enemy, you shouldn't be able to fit under that pipe. That was nice and fast as well. I did that very cleanly. Hope that's not going to make up for all the mistakes I made in the second room. So yeah, we're going to be on a time loss coming out of this level, unfortunately, unless I get like a really good tap bot. So yeah, the unloading of, sorry, the cancellation of loading. It's not even cancelling loading. It's just forcing it to not load in the first place. It doesn't come up that often in the run. This is kind of the main level that it's used in. But it's a funky little trick. Annoyingly, the second one that I tried to do is supposed to be easier. I just completely forgot what I was doing. That's why we're practicing the speedrun, I guess. It's tap. As with every other boss in the game, Tapbot is RNG based. The levels of the game... Oh, that was annoying as heck. The levels in the game, there's no RNG in any level, except bosses and any levels that contain a mini-boss. Bosses are... there's only... I think Mobile Tank Biscash is the only boss that has no RNG. Or no RNG that can really affect... That has much of an effect on a speedrun boss fight. Like, I think it does still have a little bit of RNG, but it doesn't really do anything in the fight. We need to make sure we move over a decent chunk there because there is an asset that will not spawn. That cannon won't spawn if you don't move far enough over to the left before you do your first jump. Again, because the trigger point for it is the floor. As you can see, I'm really behind, 4.3 seconds behind, and now we are closing in on losing a minute of time. the technical correct answer to your question is none, because the original is a PS2 game, not a PSX game. I believe all of them. I'm pretty sure. There we go, Supermax. I'm pretty sure every single trick that's doable in the remaster is doable in the PS2 version. I do believe there's at least one trick from the PS2 version that isn't doable in this version. I believe it was only doable in the Japanese version of the PS2 game. So to shed a little bit more light on what I'm talking about here, this game was originally released in 2001 on the PlayStation 2. It was critically applauded. It was a very highly rated game, but it didn't sell very well because it's a Japanese platformer. It didn't sell very well as well in the West, but it's kind of gone down in it's kind of a the original game Klonoa Door to Phantom Isle was on the PSX. The sequel, Klonoa 2 Lunatia's Veil, was on the PS2, and now both of them are well, I hesitate to say both of them got remastered. Klonoa 2 got remastered as part in the Fantasy Reverie series, which is what I'm playing right now. Klonoa 1 actually got a remake for the Wii. I can't remember what year that came out. It's just called Klonoa. And that remake was the basis for the remaster on... Is it 2008? So yeah, the 2008 Wii remake of Klonoa 1 is what was used as the basis for the remaster that appears in this. That appears in the Fantasy Reverie series. I do believe that the control scheme's a bit closer to the PS1 because the Wii remake was not very well received. It didn't control very nicely. It felt weird. Yeah, Klonoa's had a few different games. So the original Klonoa Door to Phantom Isle was released on PS1. Then it got a spin-off called Klonoa Beach Volleyball, which apparently the speedrun for beach volleyball is atrocious. I believe the speedrun for beach volleyball is there is one trick that you do early on in the run. You get one chance to get it right. If you fail, you lose 45 minutes. But it's something dumb like that. I've never done it myself. So yeah. So then there was the spin-off Beach Volleyball. Then Klonoa 2, which is the original version of this, was released in 2001 for PS2. It then also got two Game Boy Advance games, which are called... I can't remember what the first one's called. The second one's called Klonoa 2 Dream Champ Tournament. Can't remember what the first one's called. So if you've got the series wiki open, do us a solid. Thank you, Cosmic. Empire of Dreams. I've played both of them. I've never speedrun either of them. They're much more puzzle orientated. They are both very, for Game Boy Advance games. They are both quite good. Then Klonoa 1 was remade on the Wii in 2008, and then finally, after all that time, both the Klonoa 1 Wii remake and Klonoa 2 Lunatia's Veil were both remastered in 2023, I want to say. Yes, 2023, because that was when it got into GDQ. That was when Klonoa 1 got into GDQ. Were both remastered as part of the Fantasy Reverie series, and that is available on PC, PS4, Xbox Series SX, and Switch. I understand the Switch version isn't very good. Phew. And that, I believe, is there is a I think there's a Flash game as well, or there's some other prototype of a game or something that was never like properly released. I think that's everything. That's not a cutscene that can be skipped. Boing. So for the longest time until 2023, I used to speed. Oh sugar! I'm gonna reach that. I was supposed to bounce off that bounce pad. Whoops. I used to speedrun the PS2 version of this. And what I didn't know for a very, very long time, before I like properly became a speedrunner and started understanding some of these things, was that the game runs faster at 60 hertz. Now, the European version of the game, which obviously is what I played, the PAL version, you are given the option at the start of the game whether you want to play the game in 50 or 60 hertz. I always used to select 50 hertz because I felt it looked a little bit better, which makes sense because I'm in the UK, where we have 50 hertz plugs, and it makes sense to run it in 50 hertz. Unfortunately, that meant that it ran slower. I believe it's something like 90% speed. So yeah, the very first time I reran the PS2 version and played it on 60 hertz, I immediately saved 20 minutes. It's so dumb. So yeah. But I used to play it on the PS2 I used to do the PS2 run. I still always did support mode. I used to play with 2 controllers at the same time, and it used to hurt like hell. It was I say it didn't hurt like hell. It wasn't that bad, but it got very uncomfortable after a while. I am gonna not take damage from that because it'll be a little quicker. So I used to have my main controller in my hand, and then my secondary controller on my desk, and I used to like just use one finger. I used to sort of play like this and try and hit the other controller with my big finger, with my middle finger. And it required two buttons. There's the second controller. At the start of every level, you have to bring Popka out with start. And then every time you want to jump, it's square. So yeah, I had to like hit start at the start of every level and then hit square every time. Square wasn't too bad to hit because it's quite a big button. So when it was announced that the PC was getting the remaster, I was like, yes, finally, I'm sure I can do some sort of controller config so I can get it all done on one controller. And I did, and it's great. Except it can be a pain in the arse. Alright, this is Ishra's Ark. This is a beautiful level. It's one of the longest levels in the game. Oh, yeah, I haven't got Popka out. We do a Popka jump there, because by doing that I can skip that worm. Super bounce, which actually isn't really necessary there. This is a very puzzle-heavy level. And a very pretty level as well. I'm going to use Popka to skip a bounce pad there. So we're going to get introduced to a new puzzle element, which is called the Laquari, which is this thing. The Laquari is a charge enemy. So every time you throw the Laquari at another enemy and kill it, the Laquari changes color. It will change from yellow to blue to red. And then there are crystals. So change it to yellow, change it to blue, and now that it's blue, it gets me through the blue crystal. and that's how the quarries work. It's a very simple concept, but it's done very, very well. We're going to do a very tight... Oh. That popka jump can be done in one go, but it is very, very tight. Timing has to be very, very good there. So there we go. Here's our first example of turning it red. And now we are going to do the biggest skip in the game. This is called the engine skip. We're going to popka jump over here. I'm going to fail. It usually fails first time round. The position of this flying moo is slightly different second time round. Come on, land. Excellent, there we go. And now I can use it to get up here and skip the first engine. So what we're supposed to do is we were supposed to grab the key. We were then supposed to go back inside. There would be an engine room. We'd power up the engine. And that would then force the thing that I was jumping off of and back onto, that would force that to start moving. And then we'd be able to get round, grab the moo on the way around and get over to the switch. But by... Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. But by doing what I did, and sort of using popka and then basically bouncing off of that flying moo, whilst waiting for popka's cooldown, it meant that we were able to get up on top of the ledge and completely skip the engine. Even though we still got the key, every key is coded to its correct door. You can't use a key in the wrong door. So even though I had a key, I still had to go and get the correct key for this one. This is now engine room 2, so this is what we skipped previously. So it'd be a slightly different engine layout in engine 1. This is engine room 2. And what we got to do is we've got to grab this quarry. We're going to turn it red and throw it into the engine. Just like that. I've never finished the original Daughters of Phantom Isle. I have started it, but I never had the nostalgia factor of it. So I started it, I was like, I just couldn't, I played so much Klonoa 2 by that point that I then tried to play Klonoa 1. It's just like, oh, this just feels wrong. This feels really difficult. I never I have the Wii version. I never finished the Wii version. I have, however, finished the Fantasy Reverie version. Oh, I'm just going to wait then. There's a slightly faster way of doing this, but I kind of screwed it up a little bit, so we're going to just do that instead. It's a beautiful game, but I do feel it's one that, because it's a very... trying to think of the best way of wording this. It is a game of its time. And yeah, but as I say, more for me, it was simply because I played so much Klonoa 2 that it just felt the control scheme and all of that. It just didn't feel right. Oh, that's shit. I was supposed to jump first. Shows how out of practice I am on this. Just little things here and there. Which one was Klonoa Heroes? Ah, that's why I don't know that one. I figured it was probably going to be a Japanese exclusive, which is why I wouldn't have heard of it. We've got to do a big loop here. There is a time save on easy difficulty on this in this level, which I've never done. I've never played the easy difficulty. The original PS2 version only had one difficulty. There were no difficulty options. And in the Fantasy Reverie series, that difficulty is equivalent to normal, which is why we do normal. there are two other difficulties that were added to the Fantasy Reverie series. Mainly the music and the art style is what attracted me. It actually attracted my mother. Oh, I wasn't quite stood in the center there. It was actually my mother that who loved it first. We had the demo disc. The demo disc that we got with our PS2 included Klonoa 2. Me, my brother, and my mum all played it quite a lot. My mum really enjoyed it, so she was the one who actually bought the full game. And so sort of at that age, when I had my PS2, I didn't have that many games, so I played everything. Every game we got, I played no matter what it was, because I didn't have any other choice. These days, I can't remember the last time I actually finished a brand new game because I've got so many games in my backlog that just, I've got a backlog that I'll never ever finish. Heck, I'm playing through Oblivion Remastered at the moment in the hope that I finally finish Oblivion for the first time. I think I might already be further through the main campaign than I ever was on the original Oblivion. I might be wrong. I might be around the same point. I can't remember. I have to go back to some of my to my 2 saves. Oh yeah. We don't need to use any enemies here. We just wait to get there, and Popka give us a bounce. So yeah, all of my PS2 games I played loads, and most of them I played multiple times because I didn't have anything else to play. That's kind of where I really fell in love with Metal Gear Solid, was because the first game we got with my PS2 was Metal Gear Solid 2. I'd already played loads of Metal Gear Solid 1. In fact, I had a copy of Metal Gear Solid 1 at that time. And then got the PS2 and just played Metal Gear Solid 2 to death. Just over and over again. In the end, with Metal Gear Solid 2, one of the other speedruns I've already talked about today, because I've submitted it to License-a-thon, is Wacky Races starring Dastardly and Muttley. My dad bought me and my brother Wacky Races starring Dastardly and Muttley primarily because he was so bored of... Because we used to have our PS2 in the living room. I didn't have my PS2 in my room. Because it was the family games console, and it was also our family's DVD player. That was the main reason my dad bought us a PS2, is he wanted a DVD player because DVDs were new and good, excellent, love that attitude. Raiden's inclusion in Metal Gear Solid 2 is a masterpiece of storytelling, and it works perfectly for the story that Kojima wanted to tell. And I love Raiden. He's a fantastic character. And he's also Jin from Metal Gear Solid, Jin from League of Legends. Quentin Flynn. Anyway, getting sidetracked. Yeah, because my dad was kind of really bored of coming home from work and seeing me and my brother playing Metal Gear Solid 2 every single day. He'd get home from work and there would be on the TV playing Metal Gear Solid 2. So in the end, he bought us Wacky Races because, and I'm pretty sure that's the main reason why. Because as soon as he gave it to us and we said, "Oh wow, thanks, Dad, this is great. Oh, this will keep us off Metal Gear Solid 2," and he said, "Oh, thank God." So yeah, and now I speedrun both of those games. The first ever PS2 game my family bought, I speedrun. The video game, the PS2 game that my mum really loved, I speedrun. The PS2 game that my dad bought because he was sick and tired of us playing Metal Gear Solid 2, I speedrun. Don't speedrun that one very actively though. The game that my mum and dad told my brother he couldn't have because it was an 18, I've speedrun. which is Vice City. I did try at the same time. We both got games at the same time. He got Vice City, and I got Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, because back when I was a kid, I was a big Harry Potter fan. Not anymore. I still like Harry Potter. I still enjoyed my time with it, but I'm not a Harry Potter super fan or anything like that. Not like Heidi. Heidi still absolutely adores Harry Potter. Yeah, I enjoyed the movies. I enjoyed the books. I thought Fantastic Beasts was awful. The second one was awful. The third one was pretty garbage. The first one was okay. Yeah. But as I say, as a kid, I was a big fan. I played a few of the games. I never went and played all of them. I had a few of the games. I really wanted the Chamber of Secrets game, and my brother really wanted Vice City. As I say, at the time, my mum and dad said to us that my brother couldn't have Vice City because it was an 18 and he wasn't old enough. And kind of for the same reason again, but because they gave me a reason as well. They didn't want me having Harry Potter because it was 40 quid and it was expensive. And they said that to him as well. They said, it's too expensive for a video game at the moment. You shouldn't be spending that kind of money. Oh, another speedrun trick. We can bounce up there. This floor here is hollow. So we can do that. Yeah. For some reason, that Laquari just goes straight through the floor there. No idea why. It's just what happens. We're going to do another speedrun trick in this room. We're going to use this... By using Popka to keep hold of this Erbil, we can go do this. There's an invisible wall that we can get over the top of, so get straight there. Now this room is a really interesting room. Whoops. Because we can really go to town. And I have never come up with a consistent method of doing this room. I swear to God, every time I do this room, I do it differently. That room never goes the same way twice. I still don't know to this day, and I kind of don't want to know what the most optimal way of doing that room is. See, dude. I kind of love that every time I go into it, it's something fresh and something new. I'm sure there have been times where I have done it exactly the same way without realizing, but I never go into it going, right, this is the exact movements that I need to do. It's always, I just go for it and use Popka whenever I fancy, and it's a lot. It's a fun room. It's a really fun room. But yeah, going back to the PS2 games, I have speedrun Vice City. So speedrun the game that my parents said my brother couldn't have. I did once start learning Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, because at the time I kind of wanted to learn a Harry Potter game. I have no interest whatsoever in touching any Harry Potter game in the future. I mean, there's so many marathons that don't even allow Harry Potter games now. For good fucking reason. Wait for that to come back to my hand. So yeah, I have no interest whatsoever in touching Harry Potter. But, as I say, I did start looking at... I think I did at least one stream where I started a casual playthrough to try and remind myself of it, and I just got to a point where I was just like, nah, this has not aged well. It's not as fun as I remember. Let's not bother with this. But I'm trying to think of any other PS2 games that I've speedrun. I did once start learning Jak and Daxter, Precursor Legacy. There was one trick that I couldn't do, and I gave up. I actually went out and bought a very specific copy, because I watched a run at GDQ, and I thought it looked really cool. So I wanted to give it a go myself, and I remember reading about it and learning that the really fast any percent run that I wanted to learn, you could only do with like the black edition copy of the game. I already had a copy of the game, but I went out and bought another one so that I had the right version. And as I did it, and I got to, there's like I managed to get to just outside the second boss, and I couldn't. There's a skip to get to the second boss without having to do all of the other stuff, and I just couldn't do the skip, so I gave up. Be interested to go back to it now that I'm a bit more. Now that I'm a lot more experienced with speedruns and tricks and stuff like that. It'd be interesting to go back to that and give it another go. There's a bit of RNG here. And unfortunately, I'm going to lose time here. So some RNG there is set exactly when those surfing moves come towards you. Now, to be honest, that was less the RNG screwing me over than me just making errors there. Getting hit by one of them was not ideal. So yeah, I'm going to lose a bit of time here. By the looks of things... No, that would have been a time save if I got that right, because my PB, I got that wrong in my PB. The blibber! Do 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 do. Back to Bagajin. I'll look up at my PS2 games and see if there's anything else. The one thing with those, I said Vice City. I actually learnt the PC version of Vice City, not the PS2 version. There is a difference. Metal Gear Solid 3, PS2 game. Obviously, I've learnt that. It's one of my most famous runs. There's a faster way of getting through that. Oh, what am I doing? There we go. This puzzle we actually have to do normally. There's a PS2 trick here that isn't doable on the Fantasy Reverie series version there. There's a... on the PS2, because the PS2 version's in 4x3, the loading trigger for the red gem is a bit further back from your starting position, or a bit further ahead of you than your starting position. So if you immediately use Popka to jump up in the air and land on the ledge, the first ledge in that room, you can skip. You can skip the red gem. It doesn't spawn, but the loading zone is pretty much as you enter the room on this version. Excellent. This is another little skip. This is a skip that is doable on the PS2 version, but it's easier on Fantasy Reverie. So now, because I hit that checkpoint way over here, we just deliberately take a death to oh, come on, Nick. Deliberately take a death to there we go. Got there eventually. Deliberately take a death to then the course Klonoa to then respawn at that location. You can do a super bounce over that Laquari. You can do a super bounce over that worm, avoiding you having to use the Laquari, but it's a bit tentative. Because super bounces are quite difficult to land every single time. The thing with super bounces, is they only... Oh. Super bounces only work if you push both inputs on the same frame. It has to be exactly together. And I don't know if you've ever really tried to push two buttons at the same time. Actually pushing them at exactly the same time is quite tricky. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. You do not super bounce off any of these springs. Super bounce off one of these, you'll actually go through the ceiling and get stuck. The only way out is to keep going over to the left, and eventually you'll hit the loading zone to go back into the previous room. I lost a little bit of time on that level. Now we are going to head over to the Dark Sea of Tears. Off we pop. So it's the Dark Sea of Tears now. It's named that way because it's now really dark. And the mechanic, this is another example. I haven't really talked about this much yet. But this is another example of a level being reused. So there's loads of levels in the game which are reused, and you do them multiple times. This is the first level of the game. The Sea of Tears was the very first level of the game, and we return to it later on now as the Dark Sea of Tears. We've got another speedrun trick coming up here, which I hope I can land. Now mash Cocoon. Perfect first try. Oh, lovely. I love it when that trick works first time. Have to be very careful with that trick to pace yourself. You may have noticed there was times where I didn't start moving or didn't do something and just sort of waited in the air for a moment. You can't just do everything like straight away. You won't travel far enough. So even though the game recycles a lot of levels and you have to redo them, it always adds some sort of extra gimmick to them to make them interesting. The level layout is always slightly different. The enemies are different, the obstacles are different, but there's always some sort of extra mechanic that's in use. And in this case, it's the darkness. You'll have seen that there's those little blue enemies dotted around. These things with the halo. So they illuminate Klonoa and sort of keep the darkness at bay. And if you don't keep recharging them, the darkness eventually comes and attacks you. There's like evil spirits in the dark that will hurt you instead. We can skip that just by taking a damage boost. That was really good. Sometimes that damage boost doesn't work very well. You have to take 2 hits. So it's nice when you just get to go straight through it like that. That's lovely. We can just ignore this room by using the heli to just fly all the way above it. There you go. You see those sort of blue orbs in the background? That's what there's some more there. That's what eventually attacks you if you don't keep recharging your light with these halo enemies. Luckily, there's plenty of time. We don't have to get out all of them. You have plenty of time. This has been a really good level. Only 2.3 seconds behind my best. Which is a surprise. I'm not quite sure where else I could have saved time there. In fact, actually, that seems like that 2.3 seconds, my best was my PB, because I lost 3 seconds in that level. How did I lose 3 seconds? Not sure where I could have saved that from. Now we move into the empty Sea of Tears. We're now sort of getting towards the end game. Unfortunately, we didn't reach the final elements in time. Leorina, our main antagonist, rang the bell instead. And she has opened the gateway to the final 5th kingdom, the Lost Kingdom, the Kingdom of Sorrow. I can't remember what her motivation is. I can't remember what it is she wants to do. But anyway, she's corrupted the land. The Sea of Tears has been drained. And that because the entrance to the Kingdom of Sorrow is beyond the Sea of Tears. So we now have to travel through the empty Sea of Tears. So I'll have to have a look at the story to remind myself what Leorina's motivation in this game is. I can't actually remember what it is she wants to do. Any of these sections where we're just traveling forwards like this, I just little turns to try and cut corners, but majority of the time it's just try and go straight forwards. Klonoa moves fastest on a board when he is just moving straight forwards. As minimal turns as possible, but try and cut corners when we can. Shouldn't need Popka for this level, but it's a nice to have. You saw I did already use him once to avoid falling off the edge. Just sort of cut a corner. 2 more rooms, and then this level's done. Oh, I don't know why I didn't use that bounce pad. That was a fast one. Boing, boing. Those things that I've grabbed a couple of, they're called Popka dolls. They're kind of like the main collectible in the game. There's 6 pieces of a Popka doll in every level. And obviously for 100% completion, you are expected to get every single one. There's a 100% speed run, which I've never done. Because in addition to every Moment doll, you are also required to get at least 150 gems, or sorry, 150 dream stones in every level. Most levels only have 150. There's a couple levels that have more, but most only have 150. So it requires you to get every single one. I've never done that one, but there is a sort of middle ground speedrun category called All Visions, which requires you to complete every single vision. Now, there are 2 bonus visions that are included in that category that can only be unlocked. By collecting every Moment doll. So it's a run where you are required to collect every Moment doll. This is looking nice already. Excellent. I'm getting really good hits in before she's able to bounce. Oh, I missed that one though. That was annoying. It's just slightly too far away. I need to get that one. I don't think I'm going to get this one either. No, I'm going to have to wait for it to bounce. There we go. So that's phase 1 of Curse. This is Leorina, by the way. She used to be sort of looking a little bit like us, but now she's a giant monster instead. Phase 2. Whoops. Phase 2. I'm going to mess it up. Wait for it to come back around again. There we go. Ah, should have stayed where it was. Yeah, a bit of a slow phase 2 here. There we go. We now go to phase 3, which is phase 2.5, which is the same as phase 1. She just turns sort of a black purple color, and she's a lot more aggressive now. She jumps a lot higher. Ow! Grab an Erbil, hit. Oh, and this is where the RNG kind of screws you over a little bit. one more hit and she's down. Boom, done. Okay, a time save compared to my PB, but apparently I've beaten the boss 17 seconds faster. There's a lot of RNG in that fight. There is a double hit you can do, which I have managed to land a couple of times, but it's very inconsistent. Alright, so going back to levels that we've done previously and are repeating, we get to repeat Ishra's Arc. This is Ishra's Arc Revisited, where here we are going to stop the engines. First time through we were starting the engines. This time we're going to stop the engines, and this also has an engine skip trick. Actually, every single engine has a trick skip to it. We only get, really, unless I make a complete mess of it, we only get one shot at each one. It's going to deliberately take damage there. I do want to be on 1 HP, though usually it's a bit safer to hold off. Now what we want to do is we want to trigger the engine explosion. So we're going to throw a boomy into the engine, trigger the explosion, but not trigger the checkpoint that comes after it by taking a death. I need to be very fast. That should be good. Perfect. That is exactly how that trick is supposed to go. I'm really pleased with that. So what happened there is the game registered that a boomy had been thrown into the engine. I always get that bit wrong as well. There's a better way of doing that section. Yeah, what happened was the game registered that a boomy had been thrown into the engine, so triggered the explosion. But there's about a half-second delay between the explosion being triggered and a checkpoint being triggered. And if you can take a death in that half-second gap, the explosion is still triggered, but we go back to the previous checkpoint, which was right at the start of the level, and that's exactly where we needed to be next. So we're now heading out. We've got to do exactly the same thing again. We get to do that for all 3 engines. Now we're heading over for this key. Key. But we only get one. We really only get one chance to do it, because if you don't take the death quickly enough, you'll die. The checkpoint will be triggered, and you'll just respawn with the engine correctly exploding, but you're still in the room. You don't warp back to the previous checkpoint. So we're going into engine room 2. This is the hardest of the 3. I always say that the first one's the easiest, second one's the hardest, and the third one's kind of in the middle. So once again, I'm going to take deliberate damage to go down to 1. That wasn't it. I'm going to play this safe. I'm going to wait for a new boomy to spawn. One thing it's a little difficult to tell when boomies are going to explode. In this version, that's way too slow. That didn't work. And that's why that one's hard, because the enemy that you have to take a death from is quite far away. You know, you have to the way you have to do it is you kind of have to do a slide throw, which isn't a very easy trick. A slide throw is basically as you're running along, so keep running, turn, throw, and keep running. So you kind of, as you throw, you kind of slide, throw, and then go back into your run. and then drop straight down onto that stinger. I say, one of the advantages, however, of the second one being the hardest is it's also the least time safe. And that's one of the nice things about these tricks is the order of difficulty they're in is also the reverse order of how much time you save. So the first one's the easiest and saves the most time. The second one's the hardest and saves the least time. It'd be a bigger bummer if it was the other way around. It'd be nice to get the second. If I can get the third one, then that would be really good. I believe I've only ever gotten all three in a run once or twice. And the first time I ever got it, the first time I ever got all three in a single run was a marathon run. I was so pleased. I was so hyped at that moment. I can't remember which marathon run it was. We don't need that boomy. Because once again, we are going to... We're now back where we started in the original Ishra's Arc level. So we can reuse some of the same tricks. So I used the same trick there where I used Popka to get past the worm. This is a bit of a nasty room. Oop, decided to pause it there. Wonderful. There's another floor despawn here. It's not very important. It doesn't actually make that much difference. But I deliberately touched that bit of floor there because if you don't, there's a stinger in this next room that doesn't spawn. And you want it. That stinger there doesn't spawn. This way instead then. There we go. And what you can do, what I was trying to do, is if you position yourself correctly, you can do a bounce jump off of the boomy. The boomy will hit the stinger and explode. It's got a bit of stuff to do here. This was a room that when I finally came to learn non-support mode. Oh, phew, I did hit that. I thought I'd missed it. When I came to learn non-support mode, that room really threw me. As you can probably imagine, non-support mode runs of this are... I don't know why I did a pop bounce there, but I should be okay. Ah, come on. See, on that one, you don't get a choice. Get this one right. Oh, damn it. I did get it right, but I was too high. Oh, okay. Let's just do it normally then. So there's a trick there. When you throw a boomy, after a certain amount of time in the air, the boomy will automatically explode. And the way you do what I was trying to do there is you throw the boomy in such a way that it explodes. It explodes the moment... sorry. It explodes in the air and it's close enough to the block so that the block explodes with it. But I screwed it up twice, which is a shame because I usually get that one right. Alright, final engine. Final chance to get another time save. I'm already behind. This one's tricky on non-support mode. So take 1, 2. I'm going to let them explode. Might have been too slow. It wasn't too slow. It was right. Excellent. 2 out of 3. I'm always happy if I can get 2 out of 3. And that's it. That's the end of the level. So yeah, 2 out of 3 is not bad. I don't quite know where I lost. It's because I must have screwed some stuff up I wasn't thinking about. This is the final standard level of the game. This is the Kingdom of Sorrow. It's the second longest level of the game. The Ishra's Arc Revisited is the longest, the one we've just done. Should do that. Should do that a bit differently. Should you use Popka first there? It's a very, very long. It feels longer, partly because of the music, but it's a very solemn level. Very sad because we are in the Kingdom of Sorrow after all. Another really useful use of Popka here. Just completely ignore the puzzle mechanic and just do that instead. A lot of really handy Popka uses in this level. As you'll see, it's got one of my favorite skips. This level. And this is why I primarily run support mode. I have done standard mode, or non-support mode as it's sometimes called, because it was a race for really long fun. Misfit Mascot Relay. In fact, the very first Misfit Mascot Relay included a Klonoa 2 80% non-support mode run, which I was a part of. It's 4 of us. Misfit Mascot, I haven't taken part in a couple of events, mainly because Klonoa 2 is kind of the only game in there that I was ever really interested in. I did take part in one event where I ran Metal Gear Solid, but I was late, and yeah, there was problems. I didn't do very well. I missed my run because they were massively ahead of schedule, and I wasn't prepared for that, and I wasn't keeping an eye on the time properly, or Discord, or anything. I completely fucked up. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Only time I've ever done it. Only time I've ever been late or missed a call for a marathon run. I've never ever want to do it again. I felt horrible. I've only ever backed out of a marathon after a schedule's been announced once. I've done that mistake before. Yeah, only ever backed out of a run after the schedule was revealed once, and that was only because of a miscommunication between myself and Heidi. Which, annoyingly, I think it turned out in the end that I could have done it. No! Come on, I'm not concentrating. It's last level, so I'm not really concentrating, probably. I say last level, it's not the last level. Yeah, that was Go Fish last year. Right, this level I do need to concentrate on. No! Oh, I'm going to reset the room. There is a very easy and fast way of getting this done if you're fast. You have to be fast. So, grab it, throw. Oh. Maybe not. Doesn't seem to... I'm sure that was slower before. Oh, come on, Nick. No, I hate this. I hate this trick because... There we go. That's kind of the fast version-ish. That'll do. I hate that puzzle because you have never been required throughout the whole game to really do a trick like that. Oh, that failed miserably. That's better. At least I get a second chance with that one. There's never been a moment in the game where you are required to sort of pin... Apart from the pendulum in... Lalakusha kind of requires a bit of precision, but not like that. The thing that I really like about this level is it takes everything that you've learned and makes you apply, like, all of your skills. You know, all of the jumping mechanics that you've done, all of the puzzles that you've done, you know, it makes you go back and use every skill that you picked up throughout the run. Except that one, it just throws this brand new mechanic on you that you've never done, which is precision throwing into the background. You have to throw a lot of stuff into the background, but stuff is usually still. There never really is another moment in the run that requires that level of precision. Or anything close. I mean, as I say, it's supposed to be hard, but there's nothing. As I say, there's nothing else in the run that really requires. Oh, I put Popka away. Luckily, I'm only There we go. Luckily, that wasn't a very long reset. That's a funky jump. Be careful with that one. There is a faster way of doing that. As those things spawn out of that portal, you can grab them, and if your timing is spot on, you can grab that Jetamo. But the timing on it is very, very precise. I think I might have done it like in practice once. I don't think I've ever put it into a run. So here is one of my favorite tricks in the game. 1, 2, 3. Yay! First try. Lovely. So with that one, we use Popka to and use the 2.5D to sort of to go up a level, but it's not quite as simple as just doing that. It's actually slightly too high to reach normally. Oh. So we have to. So you'll notice what I did is I'm gonna just do this normally. You can kind of get around the top here. It's really easy to screw up. So what I had to do is I had to start on the lower one, bounce, jump up and grab the higher one, and use the momentum of going from the lower to the higher one to give myself a bigger starting bounce. To give myself a bigger starting bounce up to then hit the to then be able to grab the one above after the Popka jump. I really, really love that skip. It just looks really cool. 2 bounces off that, and then Popka will get me to the end. And that is the final traditional side-scrolling level of the game. Few deaths, so 1 minute 6 behind. It's very rare. I can't remember if I've ever actually had a zero unintentional death run. Obviously there are four intentional deaths in the run. 1 in Noxious Lalakusha and then 3 in Ishra's Ark Revisited. I think that's it for intentional deaths. I could be wrong. But yeah, I think like I might have only ever had one run where I've had like 0 in unintentional deaths. It's a very, very long run. It's always better in marathons because I'm much more switched on and concentrating. You know, I'm also not reading chat and stuff like that in marathon runs. But I'm also kind of a little bit complacent with Klonoa. I've been speedrunning this for 12 years. Like, I kind of know it inside and out. And as a result, I get complacent with it. I'm just like, I don't try as hard as I probably should do because, like, I've done it so many times. But if I put this performance into a marathon, I'd be okay with it. Could do with being a little bit better. A few less really dumb deaths. A couple of tricks I should probably just have a quick look over once again. A couple of the puzzles, just to make sure I know what I'm doing. It's been a while since I've watched a world record of Klonoa, actually. It's probably worth doing. But it's always a run that I can just very easily pick back up again. And that's why I submitted it to Preventathon, because I knew I wanted, it was my first Preventathon as a staff member. I knew I wanted to therefore submit a run for it. I wanted to, hopefully I'd get accepted. But I wanted to be able to, hopefully have my first Preventathon as a staff member also doing a run, so I can be a bit. The main thing with me being on staff is I'm tech. I'm only tech. I have not applied to be a host volunteer. I've not applied to be a director or anything else. I am only doing tech, so I will help with pre-run setups. I'll help with pre-marathon setups. In fact, I'm going to be organising them. But I'm also obviously doing, tech stuff behind the scenes. Everything that I'm doing is behind the scenes. I'm not due to be on stream, on camera, on mic at any point as part of my volunteering roles. Because I very rarely volunteer to host anymore. I really have started to enjoy tech more than hosting. I will still host. But I much more enjoy the tech side of it. I've kind of had, again, it's kind of like I've had my fill a little bit with host. Oh, that missed. That didn't. This is the final boss, by the way. This is the King of Sorrow. Or we don't actually know what this thing is. It just appears and attacks us. The cutscenes don't explain what it is. This isn't the King of Sorrow. We will fight the King of Sorrow after this. Defeating this is not the end of the run. But that's the first phase done. It does look a bit like the Doctor Who. Dum da dum dum da dum dum da dum dum da dum. It does look a bit like the Doctor Who title sequence, doesn't it? Right, now we move into the actual King of Sorrow. So that is the King of Sorrow right there. There's a little bit of RNG, bad RNG here. He spawned he threw down the other one. Oh, quite the right space for that. Oh, he's going to keep going that way, and that's phase 1 done. Phase 2, same again, but it's a bit faster, and time is on the final hit. Yeah, good RNG. He actually threw both down at the same time. Oh, I wasn't quick enough to grab it though. Now, ideally, I want to be able to hit all of these with one thing. One more hit. Missed. Quick. No. There we go, time. Bit awkward. You can only hold that enemy for a certain amount of time. After a while, the enemy will die and pop off, and you have to grab another one. 1:13:16, 4 minutes behind PB, but I'm pretty sure. Well, as long as my RTA was within estimates, My RTA was 136.31. My estimate is 140. So yes, this was 3.5 minutes under my RTA estimate for Preventathon. So this run would be absolutely fine. I'm hoping I can do better. It'd be good to get it good to get a run where the IGT's under 110. I think that would be the main goal to try and get back to. But yeah, we'll be, every Tuesday until both Preventathon and Speedrun are done are now going to be this at least one run of Jade Cocoon and at least one run of Klonoa 2. We're a little early for finishing. Usually I go on for another 25 minutes, but this week I'm in the office Tuesday, Wednesday. Usually I'm in the office the same day I stream. So I usually stream Tuesday, Thursday, and also in the office Tuesday, Thursday. The advantage of doing that is that I can stay up late to do the stream, and then I don't need to be up first thing in the morning because I'm working from home. But originally this week, Heidi was going to, I think Heidi had a twilight session at work tomorrow. This Thursday. So I needed to work from home so that I could pick Alex up because she wouldn't be able to. That has now moved to a different week. In fact, that's moved to next week. So it's going to be next Thursday instead. But we'd already asked the nursery to give Alex an early tomorrow. So I'm doing the same thing next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, this week and next week. It's fine. So at the moment, actually, I don't mind so much that the stream's going to end a little bit sooner. It's actually a bit beneficial. All right. I actually pushed the wrong one there. Well, I pushed the wrong one for the horizontal stream. For the vertical stream, it goes to the same one anyway. But yeah, that is going to be it for tonight. Thank you all very much for joining in. OG Happy Dude, if you're still there, send me a DM on Discord or something, and we'll have a quick chat about STUK, stuff like that. For everyone else, I'll be back on Thursday. We're going to do some. It's going to be the final stream of doing Twin Snakes. Hopefully, I'm going to get the very easy PB that I've been after for a while. But hopefully I'm going to try and blast through those runs and see if I can get 3 runs done in one stream, because that'd be good. And then following on from that on Thursdays, I should probably do a little. Well, I could probably do doing a little bit of Metal Gear Solid 3 practice, but I don't know if it's 100% confirmed that I'm going to be doing Metal Gear Solid 3 for Speedrun. I think so, but like until I see a schedule that has me on it, then I'm not going to take it as 100%. I'm going to take it as 90% for now. So after next week, probably want to do a little bit of MGS3 very easy practice. And then, throughout the whole of June, I'm just kind of focusing. June will just be focusing on whatever runs I get. Like whatever I get into License-a-thon is going to need practice, particularly if they take wacky races. Because like I haven't run wacky races in ages. I submitted it, and I told them when they asked me, I said I do have this other run. It's not very good, and I haven't done it in ages, but I could pick it back up. So if they take it, I'm going to need a bit of practice on it because it's been a while, and I think something happened in August. So I think something got found in August last year because on speedrun.com for wacky races, a bunch of new world like first, second, and third all beat the old world records like by like a minute or so. So there's something new in that speedrun for me to learn. But we'll see if it gets in. A lot of my other time is going to be spent on like Speedrun Tours UK. I need to do quite a big overhaul of some stuff for Preventathon because their system needs to be slightly different. I might be trying to fast track working on a module, a module panel for Node CG that I've been putting off forever because I've not wanted to do it, but it'd be really handy for Preventathon now. knowing how it's got to be done. So yeah, I'll sort of see how that goes. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you've had fun. Let's have a look and see who we could raid. Here's hoping is my raid function. Yeah, my raid function on my stream deck is working. We could go to El Paso. We've gone to El Paso previously. El Paso's playing. I'm trying to. It's a really tiny little icon on my stream deck. Oh, Pazo's playing Claire Obscura Expedition 33. So I'm not going to raid Pazo because I've got it installed and haven't started it, and I don't want any spoilers. Albino Reno's doing Star Fox 64. And AM. Oh, it's just AMD. Maybe we'll go to Albino Reno. That'll do. Thank you all. Have a fantastic couple of days. I'll see you on Thursday for Twin Snakes. Yeah. Say hi to Albino Reno. Bye. Oh, and if you're on YouTube, obviously there is no raid because raids are a Twitch thing. Bye.